Hi and welcome everyone. Just as friendly reminders, please make sure you mute yourself all time during the presentations to avoid any unwanted interruptions. If you have any questions or any comments, don't hesitate. You can always leave it down below in the comment sections so that we could go through them during our Q&A session. If you ever experience any interruption or internet glitch, don't worry, we also live on YouTube so you can always catch up for the replay. In the end of the sessions, 2 QR code will be given for e-merit and e-certificate submission. So please stay tuned until the end and please don't miss out on that. Thank you. Hi, assalamualaikum, and a very good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, whether you're tuning from Zoom or watch us live on YouTube. We are so happy, so glad to have all of you here for AMR Awareness Week webinar organized by One Half Student Club UPM. Since it's a Friday night, though, so instead of chilling somewhere else or scrolling endlessly, you actually choose to be here with us. We really appreciate that, and we promise this going to be a meaningful eye-opening sessions, and we hope you going to enjoy every single part of it. Beforehand, I'm Hanis. I'm going to be your moderator for tonight. Again, before we get started, just as a friendly reminder, please make sure you mute yourself all time during the presentation, as we want to avoid any unwanted interruptions. If you have any questions or any comments, do not hesitate. You can always leave it down below in the chat box. We would be so happy to go through them during our Q&A session. If you ever experience any interruption or internet glitch, don't worry, we are also live on YouTube, so you can always catch up for the replay. Last but not least, in the end of the sessions, 2 QR code will be given for e-merit and e-certificate submission. So make sure you guys stay until the end and don't miss out on that. Alright guys, to officially start our session, we are so honored, so happy to welcome Dr. Nur Indah binti Ahmad, advisor of One Half Student Club UPM, to share with us a few welcoming words. Dr. Indah, we are so happy you joined us for tonight, and the floor is yours, Dr. Indah.
Hello, thank you. Hang on, yeah. I am actually at the store. Kejap. Give me like 2 seconds.
Alright everyone, we give a bit of time to Dr. Indah to prepare. Dr. Indah, whenever that you are ready.
Okay, sorry. I'm actually still driving, but then hands-free is fine. Thank you very much to every one of you who chose to be here. As the moderator said, it's TGIF mode tonight, and just hopefully you'll be able to just relax, chill, and then listen into something. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you will be learning something new because we have 3 amazing speakers. From human health, from animal health, and also youth advocate, who are all doing the best that they can in terms of contributing and working to manage in the and fight AMR in the country from each and every one of their angle. And I really hope that this will stir to more interactions, conversations, exchange of ideas, amongst all of you, especially the One Health Student Club and then your peers, into not familiarizing yourself with the topic, because all of you, when you're joining this, you yourself have become an AMR, advocate, One Health advocate. So I really would, I really appreciate that all of you are here tonight. And then also congratulations to the committee members who I know have done a very good job, in setting up not only the webinar for tonight, but also the successful AMR awareness booth at the faculty earlier this week, in conjunction with the One Health celebration, One Health Week celebration, sorry, by the club. So, bits and pieces here and there, you are doing the best that you can in your capacity to spread awareness, to spread and share the knowledge on EMR, and so all of this, hopefully all the ripple effects will come in many different ways and forms. So congratulations once again to all of the committee members and members of the One Health Student Club, and on behalf of all the advisors, Dr. Sharina, Dr. Awang, and Dr. Azina, and also the Deputy Dean of Academic Affairs, Prof. Shadila Abdul. To all the speakers, thank you very much for spending your Friday night, evening with all of us. And thank you, and hopefully you would also be able to get new information from tonight's interaction and webinar as well. And yeah, so I think that is from me. I'll be joining in as well while I'm driving. And so yeah, so to all of you, enjoy the webinar, and yeah, continue connecting with One Health Student Club and through all of the social media channels. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Indah, for such a welcoming and heartwarming welcoming words. Thank you so much to spend your time. I'm so sorry, kacau you waktu driving. All right. So we are so happy, so glad that you are here with us tonight. All right, guys. Actually, tonight we're going to explore about antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is actually a growing issue where germs like bacteria no longer responding to medicine that supposedly kill them. AMR brings such a huge threat to its humans, animal, and environment. That's why we take a one half approach to see this rising issue in three perspectives. First, on how youth can spread awareness. Second, what is the health authorities doing at the national level? Last but not least, AMR from global perspective. In order to dig deeper into all this perspective, we are so honored, so fortunate to have all three wonderful speakers. Who are our speakers tonight? Please join me to welcome our first speakers. Mr. Calvin Shi Ming, microbiology and molecular genetic graduate from University Malaya, founder and the president of UGAS, United for Global Antimicrobial Stewardship, a youth-led movement focused on antimicrobial stewardship through education, advocacy, collaboration, and research. He also recipient of the 2025 Merdeka Award grant for international attachment, also involved directly in AMR awareness campaign and science communication initiative across Malaysia and the Asian region. Last but not least, he also actively promotes safe medicine disposal in partnership with Watson and Alpha Pharmacy to reduce environmental pharmaceutical pollution and combat antimicrobial resistance. That was such a huge and amazing achievement. Congrats, Mr. Calvin, and we are so pleased to have you here. Next, for our next speaker, we welcome Dr. Muhammad Karin bin Samari, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine from our beloved university, University Putra Malaysia, experienced in serving as small animal clinic and farm veterinarian, worked with state government under the Ministry of Housing and Local Government, KPKP, joined the Department of Veterinary Services, DVS, under the Genetic Division, followed by 4 years in Budget Management, RMK Division. Currently, National Focal Point for Antimicrobial Resistant, AMR, and the Officer in Charge for Animal Product Export Approval, Unit Hasilan Produk Haiwan at Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, KPKM. We are so blessed to have someone who are so professional and expert in this field. Thank you so much, Doctor. And lastly, we welcome our final speakers, Dr. Tengku Zati Mastura Tengku Jamaluddin, medical degree holder from University of Sheffield, United Kingdom, PhD in Infection Control Unit from Juntando University, Tokyo, Japan, currently Head of Infection Control Unit, member of the Antimicrobial Stewardship EMS Community and Medical Advisory Committee MAC at Hospital Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah University, Putra Malaysia Teaching Hospital. She also principal investigator for HSAAS UPM as a member of SHARE Research Network. Last but not least, she also national consultant for antimicrobial resistance at the WHO country office for Malaysia, Brunei, and Singapore. It's such an honor for us to have someone who actually worked internationally so that she could share her knowledge, her dedication, and her hard work with us so that there is something that we could learn. Again, I would like to welcome and I would like to invite everyone to welcome all three speakers with here. Alright guys, I think without further ado, we shall proceed with our first session. To kick-starting our session, we will start our session with Youth Against AMR, the 101 on advocating and raising awareness on AMR. With that, we are welcome our first speaker, Mr. Calvin. Mr. Calvin, are you already here with us?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mr. Calvin.
Yeah. I will share my screen in a moment.
Oh, alright. Take your time, Mr. Calvin.
I
Everyone,
can.
please.
Yeah, I can share my screen now.
Alright. Whenever you are ready. All right, everyone, let's give a moment for Mr. Calvin to prepare the slide. He will be the one who preparing the slide.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, do you want it to be in full screen? All right, now it's in full screen. All right, the floor is yours, Mr. Calvin. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hanis. And first of all, I want to thank Dr. Inda and the UPN One Health Club for inviting me. And also, I see familiar faces, Dr. Zeti and Dr. Karen, who we collaborated previously in the Pills to Art event this year. So, I'm here actually to share about my personal experience on how UGAS, the youth movement that previously Anis talked about. So this is a combination of my personal experience and hopefully that through my experience sharing, I'll be able to inspire some of you here tonight to contribute to the fight against AMR. So a little bit of my background. I'm from microbiology and molecular genetics, University Malaya. I'm also the founder of this youth movement, or we call it youth NGO, United for Global Antimicrobial Stewardship. In short, we just call it UGAS because it's a long name. So, I believe most of us here are well informed on the issue on antimicrobial resistance, which means for the microorganisms that can develop resistance against the antimicrobials, bacteria against antibiotics, virus against antivirals like HIV. But I believe Dr. Zeti and Dr. Karin later will explain further in the landscape of Malaysia and global. So I'll just touch more on the youth perspective. So this is how pharmaceutical waste disseminate in Malaysia, not just Malaysia, globally, and essentially how it's just one health in a more complex manner. You can see the medicine products are disseminated via household, hospital, agriculture, husbandry, eventually come back to us. And there is a wastewater treatment plant, which is one of the big issue as well. So if you are familiar with bacteriology, so in bacteria, among all the bacteria, you have different ranks of bacteria that have different resistance level. So this is one of the bacteria. It's called Staphylococcus aureus that has developed against the antibiotic class methicillin. So this is one of the more important, clinically important pathogens that we have traced based on the surveillance record, how prevalent it is in the whole world. So as you can see, some of you may be familiar with the map that most of the cases are happen primarily, I think, all over the world, and some parts are more serious. But what I want to emphasize more on is the next slide. 90% of the death actually come from Central Asia, Asia countries, and South Africa because of our disequality on how we can get access to these drugs. At the same time, some of us stay in the relatively rural area. The access and the treatment is relatively much lower than the counterparts from the other part of the world. So we are the direct, I would say, patients and victims of this problem of AMR, and that gives us much more of a good reason to be part of the fight against AMR. So this is local studies released earlier this year. The paper was published last year, but essentially what it states is how much pharmaceutical products they have isolated and screened from the local river in Sungai Selangor, Kajang. So it is very real that we are living in such a world, and even among our community, the pollutions that can cause resistance is just next to us if you stay in KL studying, considering some of you are UPM students. But then a more recent news caught my eyes. No, yesterday we just had this climate change, a big taufan, a lot of rains. Then you see this picture at the right. It's actually a picture out of my balcony. You see the river is almost full, and that made me think climate change is one of the driving factors of how we mentioned earlier pharmaceutical disseminate from the primary source to our water systems. And when climate change happens, it further pushes and causing the spread of pharmaceutical pollution into our river. So it is very real. And when we talk about climate change and AMR, there is already published studies that talks about the severity on climate change. And when it happens, it's actually a cycle. Global warming happens. So the prevalence of, because it's more warm, uh, when it's warm, it creates an environment that favors bacteria in the environment to grow. And naturally, the access of animals or humans or prevalence in the environment of the bacteria increases. So that also includes probiotics, good bacteria, bad bacteria, pathogens. So indirectly, it causes more infection than usual. Then it comes back to our healthcare system. And when our healthcare system have this problem of prolonged patient treatment, it costs more energy than usually it needs. So when more energy is consumed, it further charges climate change, global warming from happening. So it's actually a down spiraling cycle of between climate change and AMR. Yeah, this is just illustrative figures, but the right side here, you see, where is AMR rebellion? This is written by the exact statisticians that wrote the paper on by 2050 AMR is going to kill more than 10 millions, Jim O'Neill. So he wrote in this paper mainly emphasizing on where is the AMR rebellion, because this is such a big issue, and he mainly talked about there is climate change. There's so many advocates on climate change, but in AMR it's a silent pandemic. Though yes, it happens here and there. It's not like COVID in a big pandemic rush. So we need someone that is able to consistently make AMR known. Then I found a highlight from this journal that he wrote. Where is the AMR Greta? I believe most of you here know who is AMR Greta. But where is the AMR Greta? And I think that that's the big question for our generation to solve. So maybe one of you here in the future will be one of the leading figures, because I would like to emphasize by 2050, we will be the one that is leading that generation. We are the youth, yes. But by 2050, when the silent pandemic is maximize the impact, we will be the one that is suffering the most. So that gives us all the more reason to start now, to be educated now on the severity and how can we address this issue to our generations. Because our parents, our lecturers here, by 2050, some of them, if they are healthy, they may still be alive, but they may be not there anymore. That is a very real problem. So we are going to suffer, and our children will be suffering the more, because all the statistics we have now is by 2050. We don't know by 2070 how it's going to happen. So what aspect can we youth contribute to the fight against AMR? I'm just going to share a little bit of my experience on what I've been doing. So hopefully that can give you some insights and what you can do as well. Maybe we can collaborate together, because I think one of the reasons Dr. Inda brought me here today is just to get to know you guys more, so we can work together between UM Youth, UPM Youth, and I talked to USM Youth 2 weeks ago, and I challenged them to do something, and I'll explain further in the next slide. So, so this is basically on drug disposal. It starts from household, individually. Where should we throw our medicines? Most of you here are veterinary students. I believe that you are well aware on the One Health issue. So, how we dispose our drug contribute to the landfills, and eventually pharmaceutical pollution from the landfill charges AMR as well. So here is some guidelines from the Ministry of Health on what can we know about drugs and how can we identify whether we should throw it or not. And here is a more expanded guide on how we can dispose and what should we and should we not dispose. So if you happen to have a question on where to dispose your drugs, there's no reason for you to not find a place. In Malaysia, we have this My MediSafe department that was launched quite quite recently, and some of you may have seen in the MRT station, they have the ads of safely disposal of medicine. And actually, currently we have over 700 drug disposal centers that you can throw your medicine in all the community pharmacies, like our Pro Pharmacy, Caring Pharmacy, and even Watson's. We are collaborating with them. So it's everywhere, even hospital and clinics. So what you need to do is just do it. And most of the biggest reason that we get is why people are not participating is because they are lazy. So it is also our duty on how can we tackle their social behavior to make them have this behavioral change. And the Malaysian landscape. So currently, my colleague Yiling, she's from Malaysia Pharmacy Society. So what they have done recently is they have drafted a suggestion to the Ministry of Health, MyMediSafe, to launch the legalized drug disposal service in community pharmacy. So now the Ministry of Health is working on a white paper to make this a formal policy so that all the community pharmacy will be benefit from helping on the drug disposal community. So all the things that we have been doing so far with community pharmacies are just solely voluntary basis. So that means just grassroots. There's no government direct involvement and giving us any monetary sponsor to reduce in the service, because how it works is when we return the medicines back to the pharmacy, what they will do is they will collect it and they will send it to an incinerator. So that incinerator is going to burn all the expired medicines to make the chemicals completely disintegrate so that it won't cause pharmaceutical pollution. So, but unlike plastic, you still can recycle, repurpose, and sell. There's a commercial value, but for medicines, there's no such value. And in fact, you have to pay for the transportation from one location, and it has to be a pharmacy registered vehicle because you are carrying drug. And then incinerator service, the fees of burning. So that's the challenge for drug disposal in Malaysia so far. So these are the current Malaysia efforts being done by the community pharmacy, and even they have provided a medicine disposal guide on where you can dispose your medicine and how you can dispose. This is available on the MyMediSafe website, and some effort being done by the collaboration of UM and Caring Pharmacy. So this is some personal reflection why sometimes we get excess medication at home. So this you can share with your parents or friends as well, just some extra information before we get into the youth initiatives. So sometimes we may ask doctor for more than what we need, and sometimes we stop because we think the symptoms have resided and therefore we don't need to depend on drug anymore. But that concept actually charges AMR by causing the AMR that some can remain as opportunistic pathogen, although they show symptoms and cause inflammation, you have fever. But once you stop taking and there's no symptoms at all, they can reside as opportunistic pathogen and slowly evolve and develop resistance against it. So that's one of the way. And here is some study done by my colleague in the hospital landscape. So one of the aspects that we can look into, not just individual or community, but in hospital. The things that I want to highlight is here, the red box. 26.4% receive appropriate antibiotic therapy and 73.6% receive at least one course of inappropriate antibiotic therapy. This is a study done between 2012 and 2013 for between two hospitals according to the guidelines. And this is a paper. And also, this is another paper study on the difference between two hospitals that assess the appropriateness of prescription and also the compliance with the guidance. So fortunately, among medical patients, the appropriateness is still relatively okay, 60%, 67%. So obviously there's room for improvement, but I believe that needs a more rigorous implementation. And this is just two hospitals. We haven't talked about private hospitals. So yeah, now moving on to UGAS, how it started. So the picture you can see on the left, this is a SEM scanning electron microscopy image of Escherichia coli, E. coli. And the right side you see is antimicrobial susceptibility test. So the round disc you see are the antibiotics, and the slimy thing is the bacteria. So you can see the bacteria are growing surrounding the antibiotic. That means the antibiotic is nothing to them, almost. So that's where we call as multi-drug resistance when it develops against different antibiotics. Why E. coli? This may be an extrapolation, but bacteria like E. coli only takes 10 generations to develop resistance against antibiotics. And each generation of E. coli is, anyone can answer how long? Each generation of E. coli.
Is there any answer from our participants?
Any answer? Because I can't see actually the comment section.
All right, for now, still no answer. Maybe if someone can send it from our YouTube, because we're also live on YouTube.
I'll just give the answer.
All right, I think that's better.
So each generation is 20 minutes. 10 generation is just 200 minutes. So what it means is within 200 minutes, one bacteria can develop against antibiotics, and that's the amount of time they need. Like I say, bacteria is very smart, and that gave me a very huge realization that the solution against AMR is not in the development of technology to develop new drugs, but rather in the regulations. Because no matter how much drug we can discover and develop, sooner or later they're just gonna develop resistance if we not regulate it. Then, but that was just a thought in my mind. I don't have resources, I don't have money, I don't have guidance. And the perfect moment came, which is here, Watson's. So there was a collaboration between Watson's and University of Malaya. It's called Youth Empowerment Sustainability. So we proposed to Watson's, why not you start a drug disposal program and do about AMR awareness project? Because Watson's Hong Kong has been doing it. All other Malaysian community pharmacies has been doing the drug disposal. Why not? So that gave them the good reason to do it, and also a good opportunity, a good platform for us to start involving. So that's all it came to start, and a lot of things have happened downstream, which is we got the collaboration from our probe because the event with Watsons was a huge success. It's called Pills to Art. I'll explain it further. Then that in turns give me more support from ASEAN Foundation that we are going to launch another event soon. I'll share about it in next slide. So a little bit about you guys. We were about 1 year old, very new. So what we are doing is we are focusing on 4 pillars. Essentially, it is on education, advocacy, collaboration, and research. Why not? Why all these four? Why not other things? Because based on my understanding, education creates informed decision, and informed decision creates advocacy. And there comes the collaboration and research. Everything must start from the grassroots level. And the voices of Malaysian will eventually reach out to the government and not a top-down manner. It always has to start from the community. So, and this is a good quote that I learned from Professor Sheila, one of my advisor. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. This is by Benjamin Franklin, the founding father of United States, but I believe it's very well applied in this context of AMR. So this is one of the activities that we have done with Watson's collaboration. Essentially what we did, this is in May 2025. What we did is we collect expired medication, then we turn those medicines into pills art so that we can showcase it in an interactive manner as an art exhibition. But art alone, I think, is not attractive enough. So we created a carnival where it combines art exhibition of the Pills art. And then we brought in the traditional art element of the batik painting. So we make the batik instead of flour, we make the bacteria, antibiotics. So this is one of the way that we can engage the youth. And at the same time, we also invited government agencies like Dr. Karin from BVS was providing us some materials, and my Ohun, and then we have Ministry of Health, my MediSafe. Unfortunately, WHO wasn't there, but they will be there for the next event. So another activities that we have done, we reach out to the underprivileged community in with our university, ISB, to second chance to reach out to them to educate about AMR because it's not just urban area, but the rural area needs to know about it even more than us. Then we also collaborated with ALPRO on this safety drug disposal program because they've been heavily emphasizing this. They even have a foundation called ALPRO Foundation, especially doing the safe medicine disposal. So we collaborated with them, engaged with some kids to do this young scientist thingy. Then we thought we shouldn't just stay in Malaysia because this is a national, multinational issue because regulation cannot just be done in Malaysia. It has to be multi-national. Let's say if Malaysia has been doing good, strict regulation, but other countries not, things like COVID will happen, monkeypox, because pathogen doesn't recognize border. All of us know. So regulation must be strictly controlled in all countries. So there's some outreach we done in international platforms to talk about AMR. And recently we have this opportunity to get in touch with WHO. It's very fortunate that we are planning one event with them. So here is some Malaysia, not Malaysian, is our organization ambassador. So we have elected a few ambassadors to be vocal in their own community. The end goal is to have all these vocal representatives to start their own community on AMR, eventually to be a mature organization in their own country, so that our voice can be heard not just at a national level, but multinational, internationally, to achieve the eventual goal of standardized protocol that is customized, tailored to each country. So educational toolkit. We speak in the language where the youth can listen to. We make coloring book, we make comic book, an AMR song, an AMR song. So you may be surprised. All of these are not made by artists. They are made by microbiologists. So I said to the USM student 2 weeks ago, if microbiology student can make this, why not pharmacists? Because they are pharmacists. And you guys are veterinarian students. Why not veterinarian students? Because you guys, we have the knowledge.
True.
And the artists do not have this knowledge. We can collaborate with them, or we can start this if you have the talents. That always has been Yuga's motto, that we use the youth creativity and doing what they love, at the same time making it a meaningful initiative. So in this case, it's AMR. So if you guys are interested, you can look up on the song Silent Pandemic, and this is a song that we have not released. Hopefully we will release, but stay tuned to our social media. So we make social media educational toolkit with Watsons, with Power Pro, and some youth op-ed series. So if you guys are vocal about this, but there's no platform, feel free to submit to our website. It's called www.myugas.com. So we will help you to share about your voices on our platform and our social media, and also possibly with the Star Media. Recently, we got in touch with them. So we are not just making card games. We are not just making coloring book. We are making card games and web-based games. So this is a simple concept of Pac-Man game, but we changed. This is still in development, this two thing. So it's highly confidential. But you feel free to connect with us for collaboration. So basically, this is a bacteria. We change the pack to bacteria and the monster to become a super antibiotics. And the bacteria eating all the antibiotics Then it reached a point of evolution. This little point of evolution is the DNA, where it becomes superbug and can eat back the super pills. So that's the simple concept that we are trying to develop and let the kids in the pediatrics or in the schools to learn about AMR. Then we also make this relatively complex card game. Hopefully we'll be able to launch it next year. So this is the upcoming event that I've been talking about. About the biggest challenge that I've seen among science students is that we are not translational enough in terms of policy. And in fact, what from my observation, most of the people that is more vocal about AMR and vocal about this issue is from medic background, not from microbiology, not from veterinary yet. So this is why this concept of Model ASEAN Summit. So this year Malaysia is the ASEAN chairman. So we have gotten a sponsorship from ASEAN Foundation to launch something like Model United Nations, but we are modeling ASEAN in this case to talk about the theme One Health. So it will be a small scale event but exclusive where we will select 33 participants from different major, not just international relations, because usually this is international relations, political science students major. We are trying to bring in microbiology students, veterinary students, pharmacy students to use their knowledge to talk about One Health in a policy manner so that we can train our thought in policy thinking and leadership thinking for the future. So that's what the vision is, not just restricting international relations to dominate on the political issues, but science students should be involving in this all the more. So the future of stewardship on AMR. If I'm doing this in person, I would ask you guys, but this is an online version, so I'm just going to give you guys the answer. These are brainstorming sessions. How many occupation do you think is related to AMR? So maybe I'll give 2 seconds for you guys to think in your head, then I'll give you the answer.
All right.
Okay, so this is the answer. It involves a joint collaboration between doctors, medicine background, dentists, pharmacists, veterinary, science, academia, law, international relations, creative, because we need to reach out to the teacher, economists, and you may be curious about behavioral science. Why do we need them? Because most of the time we know about the knowledge, but there's no action. And that's an interesting thing that we should look into. And of course, our waste management. So this is one of my favorite quote. Also, my supervisor, he always reminded me of this. Is Prof. Chan Kok Gan. So if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the results of 100 battles. Exactly, that's maybe applicable to us as well. Our enemy is knowing but no action, or not known with no action. And Socrates say the same thing. Know yourself is the beginning of wisdom. That we need to know what is the core issue as the youth generation. So that gives me the reasons to talk about this. We need to speak in a language where it can be heard by the generation. So some of you here might be Gen Z. I'll be surprised if some Gen Alpha is here. So I'm doing a little test here. You see if I will be able to catch your attention by speaking in your language. AMR is a real public health challenge that killed more than 10 million. No cap. Bad. Yeah, my good, let's do something about it. And now we are vibing, right? If you are laughing at the screen and I managed to get your attention,
I
maybe
think it really
getting into
made a
something.
difference.
Yes. So we need to speak in the language. And there's this
True.
brain rot. It's a huge, large landscape for us to explore. Crocodile or armadillo or whatever. So we can do this. Superbug global. This is our generation. We need to be creative, use our knowledge Yeah, of course, we are in the generation and the community, so we need to talk in the same language that we can understand each other.
True. Even Dr. Indah mentioned here, she need to save few of your phrases for her students.
So this is towards the end of my slide. I'm so glad that Dr. Indah is quoting. So this is the one of the few slides left, 2050. So perhaps a reflection that we can thought of is what I mentioned earlier. We will be the generation that directly impact 2050. We will be the one that's suffering the most. So in the midst of all the economics, healthcare crisis, so we need to be holistic in our approach. How can we contribute to the fight against AMR, given that we are the generation that is going to live through it and directly experiencing? We will be the parents, and we will have our kids that's going to suffer even more than us. So just reflect on this, and hopefully that my speech will be able to inspire some of you here tonight to talk about AMR and to be the youth next generation leaders in AMR. But again, we may have the enthusiasm, the creativity, the drive, but we need people like Dr. Indah, Dr. Kairin, and Dr. Zati to guide us, to point us the way, so that we can head to the right direction with our drive. So this has to be sustainable, and we need each other hand by hand, and that's how it's gonna be for the next generation stewardship. And I think with this, I can thank UPM for giving this platform for me to talk about AMR, and this is our social media. We are growing still, very small, and hopefully you guys will be able to follow our website, our social media, Instagram and LinkedIn for our upcoming event, especially the ASEAN Model ASEAN meeting. Hopefully some of you will be there. And if you guys have any question, you can contact me. And here is an interest form if you're interested to join UGAS. With that, I think I can end my presentation. Thank you so much. I pass back to you, Anis.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Calvin, for that eye-opening session for our first sessions. Actually, Mr. Calvin, people often say that the first session would be the most crucial sessions since we're going to be leaving us with such a first impressions. And thanks to you, actually, you're leaving us with such a wonderful eye-opening session. Thank you so much. So if we could just make a small discussions and if we could make a few sum up from what you're saying. So actually, thank you so much for your saying. I love that how you contribute to the issues because I guess that many of us still doesn't understand what is actually AMR. So from what you have talked, for what you have shared, the local and so on. So actually, we have opened your eyes on AMR is actually not something that is not common. It's already common in our nations and also internationally. So actually it's really help whenever that you show us all the locations and so on, so that actually all of us here can acknowledge that this is actually a big issue. And I also love that you mentioned a lot about COVID-19, if I'm not mistaken, because I guess that our masyarakat normally take action when it's already too late. So as you said, this is already merebak, but since we still have a ruang, we still have a part that we could contribute, and there is a part that we could actually help on. So as you say, from the simple ways, actually even us from a students, we could do something in the way that how we dispose of our medications. And actually, since we as a with a medical background, actually we are the one who bring the huge responsible onto awareness, to put all the awareness and actually to educate our community. So actually, I'm so happy to have you here, and also I'm so happy that you are sharing from your own personal point of view. I guess it really helps. So as you said before, as a student, normally we felt that we are so small and we doesn't have the right platform. So I would like to thanks you and thanks your group, you guys groups, in terms of giving us such a great opportunities to start on something and start on to raising our voice. So as Mr. Calvin shared with us just now, all the games, all the comics, all the songs. I hope every participants, either you guys in Zoom or you guys on YouTube, you guys can always check out for all the informations and all the data given just now. I think we should support this youth movement as this would be a great starter. And also for the Asian Summit, I hope you would find the most suitable one to represent. And I love how that you get your highlights that actually we still lack a lot from medical perspective, because as you said, every single one of us have the rights and every single one have a good background, but we doesn't know how to represent ourselves in terms of policy. We doesn't know how to represent ourselves, and we still lack of educations. So I hope from this movement actually we could go further, and I hope even though you say that you just 1 year, but actually I was so proud and I feel so impressive by all the things that you guys already did and all the collaboration with Watson and then with Alpro. I think it's a good start. So even though you guys still 1 year, I still hope that you guys will grow even bigger and you guys will have more collaborations. And as you said, that this still a lacks of collaboration for government and so on. So I hope this would be a right chances to all sector to actually get involved, and together we could bring such a difference and we could bring changes to this. And everyone here, either you guys from medical background or non-medical background, I hope we can together overcome these issues so that this issue going to grow bigger and bigger, and before it getting worse we would find the best solutions to settle down. And you said before, prevention is actually better than cure. And again, I would like to thank Mr. Calvin so much. I think that was such a wonderful insight and it was such a wonderful eye-opening sessions. And I also believe that all our students, all our participants here actually learn something and at least have a motivation to start on something. And again, I would like to highlight that Mr. Calvin have shared a few games, a few comics, and also a few songs. So actually, this is our part to show our support. And for those who actually looking forward for any platform to raising your voice and you guys want to collaborate, I think this is the right choice for you guys. I hope you would find the right one, and I hope that all of us here will use these opportunities because normally these opportunities will not come twice. So thank you again, Mr. Calvin. We are so proud to have you here. If may I kindly ask you to stop presenting because we would prepare for our next slide.
Yep, sure. Thank you, Anis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Calvin. Your achievement is such impression. All right, so I think I have done with our summary sessions. So now I would say that we should shift gears and look at how AMR was handled at the national and veterinary level. So we would be hearing about preparing one health leaders AMR insight from health authorities. With that, we welcome Dr. Muhammad Karin bin Zamari. Doctor, are you already here with us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, clearly, Doctor.
Okay, good. So I would like to share my slide, yeah? Share the screen
All
first,
right.
right?
Okay.
Alright. Yeah. Mhm.
All right, guys, please leave a moment. Doctor will be sharing his screen right now.
Can you see my slide?
Not yet, Doctor.
Oh, no, yet. Okay. Wait.
Yep, it's still black and blank.
Share keys.
Do you need any help, Doctor?
Wait, yeah.
All right.
Let's Okay. You see my slide?
All right, clearly, Doctor.
Okay. What should I put this? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Pengurusi, for the such as nice introduction and also such a nice summary. And actually, I would like to Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to all of you. And I would like to say thank you to the urus dia kerana menjemput invite me untuk membagi sedikit sharing about whatever the DBS do for the AMR program and also AMR prevention and also AMR work. So I'm Dr. Khairin. Actually, I'm from Department of Veterinary Service Putrajaya under the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security. So hari ini I would like to share with you apa sebenarnya yang DBS lakukan for the AMR, and then I go to the first slide. Actually this is a first slide about the prestasi semasa industri untuk di bawah Kementerian Pertanian dan Keterjaminan Makanan. Ini just untuk share kat you all lah apa sebenarnya bahasa ataupun target utama di bawah Kementerian Pertanian. Pertama sekali adalah dia ada target untuk meningkatkan kadar sara diri, which is FSR level for especially for lembu lah, for daging lembu dan daging kambing and also susu segar. Kalau kita lihat kat sini, data SSR kadar sara diri for meat consumption is very low. If you see this, only 60% on 2024, and then our kementerian right now is targeting to boost up until 50% at the 2030. So ini I just sharing with you apa sebenarnya apa dasar utama kementerian, because Department Veterinary Service sebenarnya kita diletakkan di bawah Kementerian Pertanian. Jadi kita kena align also with the Kementerian Pertanian. Dalam masa yang sama ada elemen-elemen AMR akan masuk di samping kita nak tingkatkan production dalam negara kita lah. Okay, next slide ni I just showing with you trade dari segi trade performance in 2024. Kalau kita tengok under the Kementerian Pertanian, we have a lot of commodities. We have sayur, lembu, kambing, daging, ubi kentang, cili dan sebagainya. Tapi kat sini saya ceritakan, I show to you all about the five items is the lowest trade balance amount, which is kalau kita tengok daging ayam itik uh, on the on the fifth. Lepas tu follow by ubi kentang, jagung, ikan dan daging lembu. Daging lembu kalau kita tengok kat sini sangat trade balance dia sangat rendah, which is bermakna kita import terlalu banyak daging lembu dan local production kita sangat rendah. Kalau kita tengok kat sini, inilah sebenarnya yang we have to balance and we have to boost up the local production of this daging, di samping kita memasukkan nanti elemen-elemen AMR dalam masa production untuk daging lembu ni. Okay. So ini I just a brief about the fungsi veterina, pengenalan AMR, kesan impak dan aktiviti-aktiviti yang kita lakukan di bawah AMR, and also the role of the international and also national punya AMR, apa untuk kita lakukan, dan also some conclusion. So untuk pengetahuan you all, for your information, veterinary service actually kita mempunyai satu ketua pengarah, which is on the Peninsula Malaysia, dan kita punya dua director yang mana mereka mempunyai masing-masing authority, which is Director General Veterinary Service in the Peninsula Malaysia, which is Department of Veterinary Service in Semenanjung, uh, hanya berkuasa di bawah Semenanjung saja. Dan Sabah Sarawak mempunyai akta tersendiri dan dia orang pun mempunyai director tersendiri. Maksudnya kita punya DG kat Malaysia ni, dekat Peninsula Malaysia, tak boleh overrule Sabah dan Sarawak actually. Even though kalau kita nak export everything related to animal to Sabah dan Sarawak, we have to follow the regulation in Sabah and Sarawak also. That's the clear cut lah, actually you have to know. Okay. So right now, actually we do have a new Director General, which is Datuk Dr. Hisham. And also kita juga ada dapat lantikan baru untuk Timbalan Ketua Pengarah Veteriner Malaysia, which is Dr. Aida. Dan AMR ini di bawah Director of the Bahagian Kesihatan Veterina lah. Kat sini saya terangkan sedikit apa punca-punca kuasa yang membolehkan kita memasukkan elemen AMR dalam setiap tindakan kita. Pertama sekali kalau kita tengok under Akta Fungsi-Fungsi Menteri 1969, Perintah Menteri-Menteri Kerajaan Persekutuan Jilid 48, menyenaraikan tanggungjawab yang membolehkan perkhidmatan veterina melaksanakan fungsi-fungsi dia. Pertama sekali adalah mengawal, mencegah dan menghapuskan penyakit haiwan dan zoonotik. Pertama. Kedua, latihan bagi industri ternakan dan haiwan peliharaan. Yang ketiganya, pengeluaran ternakan, hasil ternakan dan makanan haiwan. Keempatnya, pengembangan pengeluaran ternakan dan kesihatan haiwan serta kesihatan awam veterina. Kelimanya, pemeriksaan daging, susu, telur, makanan haiwan, rumah sembelih dan logik persesianan haiwan. Yang keempatnya, dan seterusnya kita tengok penyidikan penyakit haiwan dan sumber genetik haiwan. Seterusnya, pengawalan import dan ekspor ternakan dan hasil haiwan dan perkhidmatan kuarantin. Dan last sekali adalah mengawal kebajikan haiwan di bawah akta welfare dan pemeliharaan bahan genetik haiwan. Ini adalah fungsi-fungsi yang mana keseluruhan DVS yang boleh membolehkan kita sebagai autoriti ni untuk melaksanakan kerja kita lah. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini juga, kalau lihat kepada teras utama dan skop perkhidmatan veterina, boleh dikatakan setiap skop ataupun skop-skop perkhidmatan atau setiap teras ni memang kita akan memasukkan apa elemen AMR. Jadi untuk pengetahuan you all memang kita tak ada miss pun elemen AMR dalam setiap teras ni, dari segi pengembangan veterinanya, dari segi kawal selia, dari segi pemeriksaan veterina, penyelidikan, kawalan penyakit, penyiasatan diagnosis penyakit, rawatan perubatan veterina, penternakan, latihan dan juga pembiakbakaan lah. Ini saya tunjukkan some laws and legislation yang mana kita gunakan di sepanjang kerja kita sebagai autoriti lah. Tadi Ministerial Functional Act, Veterinary Surgeon Act, Feed Act, Animal Welfare Act, Abattoir Privatization, Malaysia Quarantine and Inspection Service Act lah. Ini sebenarnya di bawah veterina, tapi terdapat fungsi yang telah diambil oleh pihak MAKIS lah untuk menjalankan tanggungjawab pemeriksaan di pintu masuk negara. Ini saya showing ke you all just legislation yang terlibat di bawah negeri dari segi poultry farm enactment, farming enactment, registration enactment for cattle, buffalo, semua ni di bawah Kedah, Perlis, Kedah, Kelantan dan Terengganu sahaja dia. Tak semua enactment negeri mempunyai satu legislation yang sama. Some ada, some tak ada buat masa ni lah. Ini untuk Sabah dan Sarawak, diorang punya Animal Ordinance Sabah, Minor Offence Enactment 1977, Public Health Ordinance 1960, Cruelty to Animal and Ordinance 1925, dan Sarawak juga mempunyai Veterinary Public Health Ordinance 1999 lah. Ini just overall for you all. I think you all lebih tahu sebenarnya. So all of you is a vet student and also medical, right? So AMR ni kita tahu di mana kemudian ni bakteria, virus, kulat penyebab penyakit menjadi kebal dan tidak berkesan yang bertindak balas kepada ubat mikrob yang kita membunuhnya. Ini menyebabkan rawatan tidak berkesan, of course. Penyakit sukar dirawat dan berlaku jangkitan lah. Dan jangkitan meningkat dan berlakunya kematian lah. Ini kalau saya tengok petikan ni, All J 2014, dia menjangkakan bahawa menjelang 2050, boleh dikatakan setiap 3 saat akan ada kematian disebabkan AMR. Jadi kita kat sini pentinglah untuk kita tahu bahawa penggunaan antibiotik, penggunaan ubat mesti betul dan mesti mengikut preskripsi yang betul dan tidak semena-mena digunakan ataupun dijual di mana-mana. If you have information ataupun you have ada nampak sesuatu yang penyalahgunaan dari segi drug, actually kita pun ada membuat langkah-langkah dari segi mengambil tindakan dari segi ubat-ubat yang tidak berdaftar ni. Jadi kita akan bekerjasama dengan NPRA which is dia akan masukkan ataupun dari segi akan laporkan melalui CISPA, and then kita akan ambil tindakan bersama dengan NPRA lah. Ini just untuk show you all that we have three mains actually resistant bacteria, which is multi-drug, that were rintang kepada 3 atau kumpulan antibiotik, extensively drug resistant SDR bacteria, rintang terhadap 2 jenis kumpulan antibiotik, and also PDR, rintang terhadap semua antibiotik. Ini just untuk pengenalan untuk you all lah. Pada FAO 2001, kemunculan Omicron menyebabkan kesihatan, of course, akan mengancam pengeluaran, keselamatan makanan dan hasilan haiwan. Van Buchel 2015 also menjangkakan peningkatan populasi dunia akan menyebabkan permintaan akan menyebabkan permintaan daging sebagai makanan meningkat. Kepesatan sektor pengeluaran ke arah perindustrian, antimikrob penting lebih dalam peran, of course peningkatan penggunaan antimikrob di negara luar media indam yang rendah dan biosekuriti yang kita rendah menyebabkan punca-punca menyebabkan AMR ni berlaku lah. Ini pun kalau kita tengok kepada kerintangan antimikrob ni, uh, kepada kesan kepada ekonomi dunia akan menyebabkan 2050, ada satu artikel menyatakan ekonomi global akan dijangka kehilangan lebih kurang dalam 100 hingga 210 trilion, which is menyumbang kepada contribute to about 5 to 7 GDP, national GDP lah. And then of course akan menyebabkan mata pencarian peternak terancam, kos rawatan yang tinggi, kematian ternakan, kegagalan rawatan. Okay, terbanyak-banyak kelas ni kita akan tengok mostly kita banyak kajian tentang inilah antibiotik, antimikrob dalam kumpulan ni, antibiotik yang engage bakteria ni lah. Kelas antimikrob yang paling banyak kita kaji lah. Ini rasa lebih kepada just macam mana mikrob tu bertindak balas terhadap antibiotik lah. Bila kita letak lagi, kita salah guna lagi dari segi penggunaan antibiotik menyebabkan mikrob tu akan lebih kebal actually. Jadi pentingnya untuk penggunaan antibiotik, pentingnya dos yang kita bagi adalah tepat dan pentingnya kita bagi pada situasi dan keadaan yang betul lah. So kalau ini just kita maklumkan you all what is punca berlakunya AMR. Can be a direct, can be indirect. Of course, kalau direct adalah disebabkan penggunaan antibiotik yang tidak berhemah, tidak terkawal dan tidak bertanggungjawab, which is overuse, misuse and illegal use. Dan guna antibiotik sebagai AGP dalam masa-masa yang panjang menyebabkan AMR happens. Guna antibiotik tanpa preskripsi, of course, jika ada preskripsi yang baik daripada doktor veterinar betul menyebabkan withdrawal pun you tak tengok betul menyebabkan AMR happens. Lepas tu menggunakan antibiotik yang tidak berraftar yang diperoleh daripada pihak yang tidak sah. Kalau kita tengok kat sini paling dekat kita dapat daripada tidak sah adalah daripada seberang lah. Kalau kita tengok yang paling dekat lah. Lepas tu seterusnya penggunaan antibiotik tidak betul, digunakan untuk spesies rumah hewan yang salah, menyebabkan rawatan tu tidak sempurna lah. Lepas tu sisa klinikal, of course ramai dah tahu sisa klinikal juga dibuang merata-rata dan tidak dilepaskan dengan cara yang betul. So untuk indirect, of course pengurusan bersih ladang yang lemah, yang rendah dan tidak mengamalkan GHP, Good Animal Husbandry Practice yang baik. So punca kerintangan, of course you all pun tahu, penyalahgunaan, of course misuse, penggunaan yang berlebihan, of course obviously overuse lah. Bakteria yang rentan nanti boleh berpindah daripada, of course, haiwan, persekitaran tanah, manusia, melalui pengenalan haiwan, makan makanan yang berasaskan hasilan ternakan. Ini semua menyebabkan punca-punca bila berlakunya antibiotik dia boleh berpindah kan. Okay. So dia akan involve juga kita punya trade dan dia boleh juga transfer melalui perjalanan lah. Okay, bagaimana dia boleh berkembang? Ini I think pun you all pun banyak tahu juga. So daripada baja yang haiwan hasilkan secara mekanikal, baja yang tersebar dekat ladang, lepas tu air kencing, najis yang dikumur di ladang dan juga bersentuhan juga boleh menyebabkan berlakunya also rintangan-rintangan AMR ni lah. Dan faktor menyebabkan perkembangan AMR pada haiwan, of course penggunaan antibiotik yang salah, penggunaan antimikrob yang overuse, pelepasan yang tidak betul dan pencegahan dan kawalan penyakit yang lemah yang sebagaimana saya mention sebelum ni lah. So pengawalan peningkatan kerintangan antimikrob, kita perlu kawal. Kalau kat DBS kita kawal, kita akan tingkatkan melalui program vaksinasi. Kita akan pesan kat peternak untuk tingkatkan bersih ladang. Actually kalau peringkat ladang kita mempunyai beberapa certification lah, certification di bawah DBS. Saya show kat you all lah. Ini antara certification yang kita DBS keluarkan. Kalau you all tengok kat sini, kita ada MyGap, kita ada My Organic, kita ada Veterinary Inspection, Veterinary VHM, Veterinary Inspection, Healthmark, dan kita juga ada GVHP, Good Veterinary Animal Husbandry Practice. Kalau you all tengok untuk farm level, kita ada dua certification, which is MyGap dan My Organic. Kalau di bawah local abattoir ataupun establishment in processing plant, we do have the GBHP and also VHM. Right now in DBS, for those want to export animal related product, they need to have the VHM scheme. This is free actually. You no need to pay anything. For 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 establishment yang kita import daripada overseas, kita akan lakukan pemeriksaan audit di overseas lah. Which is all these thing ada elemen-elemen AMR yang kita letak lah supaya they have peternak ataupun company, they have to stakeholder, they have to to fulfill all the needs yang kita minta lah. Ini JBHP yang menerangkan apa elemen-elemen dalam JBHP yang kita letak. Salah satunya adalah kebajikan haiwan, keselamatan makan dan minuman. Dalam elemen JBHP ni apa kita terapkan juga premis dan infrastruktur yang layanan yang baik, penggunaan ubat-ubatan. Ini antara elemen-elemen standard yang they have to follow lah if they want to apply the GAHP. Untuk my gap ni sebenarnya it's a very broad thing. Actually dia adalah di bawah dasar kementerian di mana Department of Agriculture follow, Department of Veterinaries have to follow. Then this my gap actually is not a compulsory. It's very voluntary basis. For those yang nak apply the my gap, actually is good because dalam my gap ni juga dia ada kelebihan dari segi you all diiktiraf lah. You all punya farm diiktiraf mempunyai satu satu amalan peternakan yang baik lah. Dan macam saya mention before this, my gap ni di bawah. Actually di bawah my gap ni dia dilakukan certification untuk farm level. Uh, yang untuk my organic tadi saya tak terangkan sini, tapi dia lebih kepada for those yang menggunakan farm level farm yang menggunakan organic things without any chemical, without any hormones and without any additive. Uh, tapi most of the farm in Malaysia they apply the my gap. Hanya sebilangan sekecil saja yang mengapply untuk my organic. So macam saya cerita tadi, penggunaan antibiotik berhema, of course, we need a prescription from Dr. Veteriner dan kita kena pastikan dos mematuhi dos yang ditetapkan, mematuhi withdrawal period yang ditetapkan dan juga kita antimikrob mesti kita dapat daripada pihak berkuasa, uh, dapatkan daripada sumber yang sah lah. Untuk antimikrob tersebut biasanya NPRA lah, Badan Regulatory Farmasi Negara yang menguruskan dari segi licensing untuk bawa masuk, dan kita DBS menguruskan dari segi vaksin and also any related to the veterinary products and sumber biologic. So apa peranan kita as a pembuat polisi? Kita akan menyediakan polisi-polisi penggunaan tembakau yang bertanggungjawab dan berhemah. Kita juga mempunyai pelan tindakan kita yang which is kita align juga dengan pelan tindakan MyPA AMR yang dikeluarkan oleh pihak KKM. Dan saya akan terangkan di national level nanti apa sebenarnya organisasi yang terlibat secara langsung untuk pengawalan AMR ni. Keduanya, of course, sebagai polisi kita akan mengawal penggunaan antimikrob pada ternakan dan haiwan kesayangan, dan kita juga ada menjalankan program surveillance kebangsaan, which is kita akan mengambil sampel pada haiwan dan juga produk hasilan haiwan untuk test for AST, test for E. coli and Salmonella. And also kita juga di bahagian pembuat polisi as a government authority, kita akan banyak buat dari segi program kesedaran, pendidikan berkaitan antimikrob. Dan kita akan target kepada beberapa kumpulan-kumpulan sasar yang kita tetapkan lah. This is a policy DBS dari segi untuk phasing out the antibiotic use from 2019 until 2025. Kita dah listed beberapa antibiotik, dan antibiotik-antibiotik yang kita listed ni actually kita dah telah buat banyak sesi debat urus dengan peternak stakeholder yang terlibat, feed and so on, dari segi larangan penggunaannya. Dan saya show next slide ni adalah dari segi apa antibiotik yang kita facing out dari semasa ke semasa. Kalau you all tengok dari segi 2012 until 2019, obviously ada sebanyak 7 antibiotik yang kita prohibit lah untuk AGP, prophylaxis and treatment in the feed food processing animal, in the feed and also feed additive for food processing animal. And then 2021, 2023, 2024, 2025 kita sedang kita dah banyak actually untuk untuk phasing out all this thing. And then kalau kita tengok kat sini, antibiotik yang saya listakan kat sebelah ni adalah yang kita prohibit, sorry, yang kita prohibit for AGP and prophylaxis in feed and feed additive for food processing animal. Just antibiotik yang 2021 and 2025 ni kita allow for treatment and metaphylaxis only in feed and feed additive. And it's special for the food, and it's a target in use for the food processing animal only with a veterinary verification. Ini untuk info you all lah. Kalau kita tengok kat sini, ini data daripada Animuse, which is kalau kita tengok sini, memang after we do the phasing out, actually, a lot of national antimicrobial use in animal has decreased. Kalau tengok daripada 2020 and 2023, memang banyaklah penurunannya, until 75%, which is good lah for us, kan? Ini antara apa garis-garis panduan yang kita ada di DBS berkaitan dengan preskripsi veterina, yang mana kita juga follow kita juga mempunyai MBAG, Malaysian Veterinary Anatomical Guideline. Kita memang keluarkanlah untuk rujukan dan untuk rujukan untuk pihak authority and also pihak industri. Ini sebagai penternak ataupun pelihara haiwan, of course, you have to know that they need to get the ubat from the syarikat yang sah yang diluluskan oleh authority. And then untuk peternak livestock stakeholder, dia orang kena simpan lah rekod rawatan ternakan, termasuk prosedur makmal. Orang pun kena amalkan dari segi GBHP, tingkatkan biosecurity ladang dan tidak menggunakan sewenang-wenangnya antimicrobe sebagai growth promoter. Lepas tu wajib memvaksinasi haiwan ternakan kesihatan mengikut nasihat doktor veterina lah. Dari segi doktor veterina, kita mesti betul-betul untuk rujuk kepada pemeriksaan klinikal dan also diagnostik. Lepas tu kita juga kena ambil kira dari segi whatever the history of the penggunaan of antimicrobe and also epidemiology about the haiwan ternakan dan haiwan yang kita ni, haiwan kesayangan kita. Lepas tu dari segi kita juga banyak merujuk kepada WOAH, list antimicrobial for veterinary importance, and also kita juga rujuk kepada WHO and also kepada FAO lah. And then kita sebagai doktor veteriner, of course, kita kena pastikan perawatan tempoh withdrawal yang betul, dan kena tahulah dari segi pharmacodynamic, pharmacokinetic antimicrobial untuk dipilih sebagai rawatan. Untuk peringkat antarabangsa, okay, kalau kita tengok kat sini, kita mempunyai kita punya punca kuasa kita lah, which is the tripartite. Tripartite ni actually pelaksanaan deklarasi politik, kerintangan grup dan cadangan terhasilnya pada ad hoc coordination group on the antimicrobial, dan melalui pendekatan One Health lah. One Health, perubahan organisasi tripartite ni lah gabungan daripada FAO, YE dan WHO. Cuma pada 2022 and then UNEP ada join lah jadi sebagai quadripartite. Dan tripartite ni dia beri mandat utama untuk menyokong segala pembangunan polisi dan tindakan berkaitan dengan AMR di seluruh dunia lah. Mungkin nanti Dr. Zeti pun dia akan terangkan dengan lebih lanjut lah dengan kuasa-kuasa, pencuci kuasa yang terlibat dari segi pendekatan One Health ni secara regional ataupun di peringkat action, so on. Ini antara kerjasama rasmi dengan pihak Asian dari segi menangani isu kerintangan AMR ni lah. Dan kalau kita tengok memang dah lama, daripada dulu lagi, since a long time ago, and then until now lah, we are going from time to time to establish banyak guideline, banyak collaboration dengan negara-negara luar, banyak sharing data, sharing input dengan negara luar about whatever we do in Malaysia, and also whatever we contribute to the world lah. Ini antara rujukan-rujukan lah. Kalau you all nak baca, memang banyak actually rujukan berkaitan dengan antibiotik. Kita pun boleh dapat daripada FAO, kita boleh dapat daripada WHO, itu One Health punya program, Codex. Of course, semua rujukan ni sebenarnya boleh kita capai dengan capai internet. Kalau ada internet, boleh je buka mana-mana WHO atau FAO. Dan baru ni saya pergi Bangkok pun, kita dah establish, kita tengah drafting satu guideline related to the AMR in the related to the environment lah, in the under FAO. FAO nanti akan keluarkan satu apa guideline baru, macam mana kita nak sampling dari segi AMR yang related to the environment. Okay, peringkat nasional. Okay, peringkat nasional actually memang kita mempunyai satu komiti yang akan bersidang, yang akan membincangkan berkaitan dengan AMR ni di peringkat nasional. Di peringkat negara kita, kita ada satu NARC komiti, National Antimicrobial Resistance Committee, di mana komiti ni dia chair bersama ketua pengarah of the KKM, Kementerian Kesihatan, dan also ketua pengarah of the our department lah, veterinary service. So under the committee, we have main co-coordinator, we have the NRC members yang join with us, and also we have co-secretary. So under this one also, we do have the TWG 1 until TWG 4. So TWG 1 membincangkan mengenai dengan about the awareness, education, and they have many strategic that we have to follow and we have to fulfill. And also kalau TWG 2 ni dari segi surveillance and research, apa-apa yang berkaitan dengan surveillance dan research, kat sinilah kita akan bincangkan. Dan untuk technical working group 3, dia lebih kepada priority dia adalah kepada infection and prevention and control. So for TWG 4, priority dia lebih kepada appropriate use of the antimicrobial. So inilah rujukan-rujukan kita yang kita gunakan dari semasa ke semasa. Dulu pernah dilancarkan Malaysian Antimicrobial Resistant MyPMR 2017-2021, and then right now kita move ke fasa kedua, which is ada fasa kedua action plan on the 2022 until 2026. Kalau kita tengok kat sini DVS, kita pun mempunyai TWG kita, we have TWG us. Kita ada TWG macam saya mention tadi, TWG 1 hingga 4 lah, under the terrestrial animal. And then kita juga bersama dengan pihak Jabatan Perikanan lah, untuk membincangkan dari segi input-input yang dibuat oleh Jabatan Perikanan. Dan kita akan bawa semua input-input di mesyuarat penyelesaian ini, kita akan bawa ke jawatan kuasa yang di peringkat nasional tadi, NARC, untuk kita summarize ataupun simpulkan whatever yang kita buat di DBS, and then whatever yang kita buat di DOF, and also incoming whatever the Department of Agriculture akan buat. So kat sinilah kita punya perbincangan ya. Ini saya just showing with you banyak guideline actually. Kalau kita nak baca satu-satu memang tak terbaca, tapi this is good actually. If you all want to explore more, you may read all of this. You may get all these things through online. Dan pendekatan One Health ni memang banyak lah collaboration dengan negara, dengan kementerian-kementerian. There's my own, of course, UPM, Naharim related to the environment, KPT, also Jabatan Dalam Sekitar, JAS, MINDEF, KKM of course, and also Kementerian Pendidikan lah. Dan Kementerian Pendidikan lebih kepada banyak awareness lah about this thing. So ini macam I mention tadi, technical working group kita ada 4. Okay, kita akan go one by one. So for technical 1, TWG 1, dia lebih kepada awareness kesedaran awam. Sebenarnya banyak program yang kita telah buat dari semasa ke semasa, dan kita banyak actually kita pun banyak memberi kefahaman, kesedaran, pelatihan kepada peternak-peternak, kepada stakeholders, kepada kaki tangan sendiri, kepada orang awam. Inilah antara program-program di bawah TWG 1. Ini contoh antara program yang kita buat dari semasa ke semasa lah. Yang melibatkan program-program ni semua, kita akan libatkan mungkin berlaku di peringkat kebangsaan, mungkin berlaku di peringkat negeri, mungkin juga di peringkat daerah, dan mungkin dia dalam bentuk persidangan mungkin. ada juga dalam bentuk seminar, dan webinar pun ada. Di UBS, kita pun banyak melibatkan kumpulan-kumpulan sasar tertentu untuk memberi kesedaran kepada mereka lah tentang AMR. Ini antara data-data kita lah yang I would like to share with you all lah. Dan data ni actually dia fluctuate, dia akan increase dari semasa ke semasa lah. Ini antara seminar-seminar yang kita buat, just sharing kat you all lah. Seminar syuarat, kesihatan parlimen, of course. Ni PPP, public private partnership, kita buat dengan apa, WHO, FAO, WA. Ni kempen dengan media pun kita bagi pendedahan dari segi AMR macam tu. Dan kita pun ada buat WAW World AMR Awareness Week di peringkat kebangsaan. Kita pun ada invite some influencers untuk promoting the awareness week WAW ni. Kita pun ada conjunction juga, kita ada collaborate juga dengan pihak poultry industry, stakeholder yang melibatkan industri. Kita pun ada buat di bawah DBS lah. Okay. Ini pun just gambar-gambar kita target dekat mana yang kita lakukan dari segi awareness penternak zon tengah, zon timur, selatan dan zon utara. Objektif kedua ni lebih kepada target kepada prioriti kepada surveillance dan penyelidikan lah. Kalau kita tengok kat sini di bawah BKV kita memang ada buat banyak program pemantauan. Kita banyak membuat sampling. Ini salah satu, kalau you all tengok pada tahun ni 2025, program pemantauan keselamatan pekerjaan kita mempunyai satu rujukan ataupun buku yang mana buku ni kita akan follow apa je perancangan berkaitan dengan pemantauan dari segi keselamatan animal produk from the animal origin lah. Ni kalau you all nak baca pun boleh scan the QR ni ataupun nanti PMC saya boleh bagi dia untuk QR untuk lihat apa program-program pemantauan yang kita lakukan dari semasa ke semasa. Untuk 2026 kita akan keluarkan maybe dalam masa terdekat ni dari segi program pemantauan keselamatan makanan kebangsaan yang mana semua loji-loji yang kita telah certified, mana-mana loji establishment ataupun farm yang kita certified, kita akan lakukan surveillance dari segi kita akan ambil sampel, kita akan lakukan audit untuk check sama ada, dan dalam waktu audit tersebut kita pun ada masukkan elemen-elemen AMR lah untuk diorang patuh apa drug yang diorang gunakan dari segi prescription yang diorang simpan tak rekod dan sebagainya lah. Ni antara antibiotik yang kita target, yang kita choose, very clinically important and also critically important in human medicine. Kita ada 12 lah yang kita focusing on setakat ni. And then ini antara surveillance AMR yang kita buat pada tindakan. Kalau tengok kat sini untuk better change sample location dekat poultry farm, kita akan focus swab, pig farm kita pergi, dairy farm, poultry slaughterhouse, and also pig, rumah sembelih babi lah. And then seterusnya untuk dekat MR surveillance kita pun lakukan di poultry farm. Untuk surveillance site kita akan pergi ke broiler chicken, kita pun ada target age. Ini semua ada dalam guideline actually, guideline kesimpulan untuk AMR. Just sharing kat you all kat sini apa kita punya finding untuk 2022 Kalau kita tengok memang dari segi salmonella resistant dalam chicken meat memang nampak kalau kat sini reduction a lot because of kita dah buat banyak phasing out. We do have a phasing out policy. So industry have to follow all these things lah. So kalau kita tengok sini memang reduction in the resistance of salmonella in chicken meat. Okay. This one in salmonella in pork meat, kalau kita tengok memang akan banyak reduction lah. So it means that our policy for the phasing out is working lah. It's working. Dan colisting memang tak ada. So kalau kita memang tak ada, memang kita dah ban lah. So memang tak, sepatutnya memang kosong lah. Jadi it's true lah that our policy and phasing out is working right now. Okay. Ini so dia dibuktikan dengan kita punya data ini news lah. Memang kita nampak bila reduction a lot of the resistance. So kat sini pun memang penggunaan antimalarial pun berkurang, decreasing until 2023 lah, 2024. Nanti kita akan add on lah, kita akan masukkan data-data uh, by time to time. Ini E. coli, kalau kita tengok AMR in E. coli also in meat chicken, kita tengok also decreasing from time to time, kan? Kita nampak decreasing, and kita akan terus workout dari semasa ke semasa untuk do the pharmacosurveillance from setiap negeri. Kita akan pergi negeri-negeri untuk buat pharmacosurveillance. Kita akan check dari segi penggunaan penggunaan prescription, penggunaan antibiotik, penggunaan drug di lapangan. Dan actually kita pun ada sekarang ni sistem pharmacosurveillance, which is every authority in the negeri they have to fill bila dia orang pergi pemantauan, pergi ni dia akan key in the system. So we do have the data soon lah. Dan this system actually baru lagi I think tahun lepas start macam tu. Ni kalau kita tengok dekat meat pun ada pengurangan lah, pengurangan banyak dari segi pig meat kalau kita tengok. Okay, untuk TWG3, pencegahan dan pengawalan penyakit, of course memang banyaklah perbincangan dibuat dari segi pengawalan penyakit dari semasa ke semasa. Banyak program vaksinasi yang kita buat, banyak implement dari segi dari segi protokol-protokol, arahan prosedur, garis panduan dan sebagainya. Ini antara ladang-ladang yang kita data sedikit data lah dari segi vaksin-vaksin yang kita telah beri kepada rakan lah, rakan special. Ini antara certification yang telah kita berikan kepada stakeholder yang terlibat. Kalau kita tengok migrate pun dalam 3,000 lebih, balik pun dalam 2000 something. My organic memang sikit lah kat Malaysia sebab they have to follow the my organic scheme, which is tak boleh ada chemical, tak boleh ada anything related hormones and so on. Ini VHM, so VHM ni algae dan rumah sembelih, which is yang untuk proses jadi food ke, untuk proses untuk animal value added product and so on. GVHP ni also, GVHP ni actually dia scheme yang lama, tapi since then right now banyak industri akan apply untuk VHM because they want to export. So they want to export, kita dah tetapkan VHM scheme is a syarat utama untuk export animal related product to overseas. So banyak yang daripada GVHP dah bertukar kepada VHM lah. Ini antara kategori-kategori premis di bawah persinjilan MyGap lah. Ada spesifik apa data-data dari segi GPS ada berapa di Malaysia and so on lah. And then this data will update time to time lah. Sometimes ada yang dah tutup pun ada yang buka pun ada macam tu. Ini antara dokumen-dokumen yang kita wujudkan. Baru juga PVM dari segi ND, Salmonella, Q fever, equine and so on lah. Sebenarnya banyak lagi sebenarnya. Tapi kita you all boleh je masuk ke DVS punya website untuk check all this protokol ataupun arahan prosedur. Kita kat situ memang banyak lah. You all boleh je capai maklumat tu memang very easy lah for me. Okay. Ni dari segi berapa banyak ladang yang kita lisenkan di seluruh Malaysia. Kalau you all tengok, memang total dalam 2000 something. Dan ladang-ladang ni pun sekarang kita dah wajibkan, let's say untuk, bukan wajib lah, kita menjadi kata sebagai satu syarat. So bila dia nak renew lesen ladang, at least they have to show the record for the drugs usage and also for the drug usage dan also apa-apa yang related kepada relate to the AMR lah. Ni okey, untuk 3/4 penggunaan antimicrobial yang berhemah, kita mempunyai juga banyak dari segi rujukan. Kita juga mengawal selia dari segi produk-produk yang melibatkan veterina, drug, sumber biologi veterina dan also feed mills. Kita mempunyai Akta Makanan Haiwan 2009 lah kalau dari segi pengawalan dari segi makanan haiwan. Ini untuk pengurusan indeks pharmacosurveillance macam saya bagi tahu tadi, kita melakukan surveillance penggunaan drug di lapangan. Kita menggunakan dalam prosedur tetap ni lah, APTVM ni lah sebagai kita punya guideline. Kalau kita tengok kat sini, ini antara program pharmacosurveillance yang kita telah buat dari semasa ke semasa. Kita pergi ke zoo, kita pergi ke ladang-ladang, klinik, and so on. Yang kita dapatkanlah data-data penggunaan drug, prescription, dari segi berapa kuantiti yang dia guna, supaya kita mempunyai satu data berapa banyak sebenarnya penggunaan antibiotik di lapangan ni. Ini dari segi makanan haiwan. Kalau kita tengok sini, memang DVS akan keluarkan 3 lesen utama untuk makanan haiwan, which is kita ada lesen mengimport, kita ada lesen dari segi pembuat feed millers, dan kita juga melesenkan penjual makanan haiwan. Ini antara data-data yang kita ada lah buat masa ni. Memang tiga ni is very important kita, sebab dia ada related juga tu, dia sangat related tu kepada AMR jugalah, penggunaan antibiotik. Okay. So secara kesimpulannya, saya boleh katakan bahawa AMR ni formula menjadi, tapi keadaannya disebabkan of course, and also obvious. Dan masalah yang baru nasihatkan boleh kawan mengamalkan JPHP, of course dia kena amalkan satu good animal husbandry practice, tingkatkan biosecurity ladang instead of using a drug to control the peternakan. And also AMR ni perlu diperlahankan, dikurangkan bagi mengekalkan keberkesanan ubat antimikrob yang sedia ada bagi penyerotan. So kita cannot simply use the antibiotic to treat any disease and so on. We need to have, of course, it's compulsory, good prescription from the veterinarian beritahu dari semasa ke semasa. Okay, I think that's all for me. Itu saja I boleh share for you all, whatever the DVS do from time to time. Actually banyak juga benda sebenarnya yang kita nak share, tapi I think kalau I ambil masa terlalu banyak nanti boleh katakan tak habis lah. Tak habis lah kan kita punya program webinar ni kan, dari semasa ke semasa. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Karin, for such an incredible informative, and that actually really grounds our tonight's discussion. Doctor, maybe before kita continue, maybe Doctor boleh stop sharing screen dulu, so that our can proceed with the. Alright.
Alright.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. So I guess maybe we could have such a short discussion and also short summary. Thank you so much. Okay, so actually Doctor, ramai yang tertanya-tanya lah bila kita buat event ni. Kenapa actually when we talk about AMR, we take actually 3 speakers. So this is actually why of the reason is because every speakers have one focus. Macam kita tengok tadi, Mr. Calvin focus on pharmacy and Dr. sendiri focus on DVS and so on. So actually, this is what we want to highlight, that actually AMR tak melibatkan satu agensi saja, tapi melibatkan seluruh kaki tangan yang di bawah medical lah. Dan actually, if saya boleh sum up apa yang Dr. Karin cakapkan tadi, for the first we go for prestasi. Actually, kita ramai salah faham when we talk about veterinarian kan Doktor, macam yang sebelum ni, macam yang pernah kita go through dekat Awani and so on, when we talk about veterinary, orang just simply anggap, oh, it's just a small animal practice. Cuma, actually kita lupa it's also melibatkan pemakanan, pertanian, agriculture, husbandry and so on. So this is what actually we want to highlight. Macam tadi, when we go with Mr. Calvin, pharmaceutical is actually affect us secara direct when you take the dose and so on. But we actually forget veterinarian also plays such an important role, sebab apa benda yang kita, like you mentioned before, dari segi feed, apa benda yang you bagi dekat you punya animals and so on, actually daripada situ when you consume the meat, you consume the milk and so on, actually it will actually affect us secara indirectly. That's why that is really important where AMR plays such an important role. So thank you so much doctors, because first kita bercakap tentang prestasi, and then doktor juga bercakap tentang jawatan kuasa. I think that is one of the highlights yang saya rasa penting yang doktor dah highlightkan, because I guess that most of us salah faham since kita fokus on Peninsula, so we doesn't really focus on Sabah and Sarawak. So kita tak tahu yang sebenarnya there is two, like doktor cakap tadi, there is two jawatan kuasa yang berbeza. So bila macam saya sendiri, saya belajar di Sarawak, so by then baru kita tahu actually there is a different procedure and different handling. So it is really important, especially for DVR students, if you guys want to import, export dan sebagainya, there is a procedure yang you guys kena ikut, and then the procedure here are absolutely and slightly different from a procedure yang dekat Sabah and Sarawak. And also fungsi-fungsi di bawah DVS yang seperti yang Dr. mention sebentar tadi. So actually it's good for us to actually to see what behind the scene. As baca sebelum ni, we focus on what youth are doing. So when we say about youth, we focus more on awareness, we focus on the how to educate and so on. But actually daripada belakang tabir pun ada beberapa langkah-langkah yang kita dah ambil, dan sebenarnya langkah-langkah ni is as you said untuk prevent, and dalam masa yang sama kita juga buat satu research yang menyeluruh on how actually kita kurangkan daripada masa ke semasa, because actually it's really important macam kita kata, because at first before we start tadi doktor ada mention tentang daging. So actually it's really important, macam doktor sendiri, doktor latar belakang yang saya tengok, doktor sendiri pernah bekerja di bawah RMK budget and so on, so doktor tahu sedikit tentang ekonomi dan sebagainya. Jadi bila kita banyak bergantung kepada ekspor kan doktor, so dari sinilah ladang-ladang kita sebenarnya nampak adanya opportunity untuk mereka mulakan operasi ladang untuk memenuhi keperluan tempatan. Cuma bila kita letakkan satu opportunity tu adalah yang tidak mengikut kepiawaian dan sebagainya, maka situlah sebenarnya fungsi DVS di mana kita meletakkan satu kepiawaian untuk yang lain boleh ikut. And I think it's really important for us also, as we know that DVS, we are not only focused on small animal, we also focus on breeders farm. So for those yang excited ataupun siapa yang daripada bukan latar belakang DVS sekalipun yang have minat kan doktor kan untuk melibatkan untuk ladang, untuk ternakan dan sebagainya, itu adalah kepiawaian yang kita perlu ikut. And I love that how Dr. enlighten all the my gap, VHM, and then Dr. juga cakap tentang my organic and sebagainya, because normally this kind of thing we just nampak as a logo, but we never understand, kita tak faham pun sebenarnya apa sebenarnya makna-makna di sebalik logo-logo tu. Macam we say, oh we go for organics, tapi kita tak tahu pun what is actually organics. It's actually bila kita kata dari segi penyediaan, dari segi pengurusan yang bebas daripada bahan kimia and so on, and also daripada segi drugs. Okay, so I would say doktor, sekarang I guess it's really easy to get the drugs kan doktor, as doktor mentioned dalam doktor punya slide tadi, that our drugs is easily dapat daripada negara-negara seberang. And also now doktor, is really I would say yang it's really easy to get actually, because as for now we could see daripada Shopee and so on. So kadang-kadang orang kita ni tak perlu ke vet untuk dapatkan prescription pun. Diorang sendiri yang buat assumptions apa yang diorang sakit and so on, and then they go through with Shopee and so on. So I think it's really important to doctor, and thank you doctor for highlight that important parts on drugs.
That's why kita perlukan actually all the vets here untuk laporkan kat kita lah. Kita tahu sebab kita pun mempunyai kaki tangan yang limited untuk buat penguasaan dari segi penggunaan drug. I faham, kita banyak tengok kat Shopee kan, drug kita sebagai vet kat sini semua ataupun medical doctors, of course you have to report to us lah, to help us, and then kita boleh sama-sama lah actually cegah drug ni daripada simply berada di pasaran dengan senang kan, mudah. Okay. Okay, tu je.
Alright, thank you doktor, and thank you so much for highlights that too, sebab saya percaya yang dalam ni ramai yang daripada latar belakang DVS and so on. As Dr. Khairin cakap, kalau kita nak harapkan to one and just see, memang tak cukup tangan since benda ni dah berkuat kuasa. So I think it's really important kan doktor for every person to actually playing their part, and also bukan sahaja as DVS, for someone yang tak ada kaitan with DVS also, maybe pet owners and so on, you guys it's really important actually untuk you guys tak simply purchase that ubat, because as Dr. Karin said, kita tak tahu what is the quantity, and then actually even DVS sendiri pun yang tak ada, as Dr. kata, logo and so on, kita sendiri tak tahu what is the bahan yang dalam tu yang digunakan, and actually is it illegal or is it legal or non-illegal. As macam Dr. mention tadi, ada beberapa antibiotik yang telah pun diharamkan, betul Doktor? So kita takut kalau antibiotik tu masih lagi digunakan dalam ubat-ubat yang kita beli ni lah. So it's really important, and also kesan-kesannya lah, as I said, even kita tak nampak kesan tu secara menyeluruh, we are one of the consumers daripada animals. So it's really important for us to make a check, to cross check first before anything. And also thank you so much Doctor for sentuh tentang all the policy, TWG1, TWG2, TWG3 and so on. So I guess this is really important so that kita tahu, and then for those yang actually interested untuk nak masuk dalam bidang ni Doktor, actually they can take this as opportunities for actually them to learn a brief. But as Doctor said before, sebenarnya banyak lagi kalau kita nak belajar secara lebih mendalam. So you guys can from all the data, and then Doctor sendiri pun ada sharekan beberapa buku, beberapa articles and so on. So you guys can go through that. Even sebelum ni pun Doctor ada bagi QR code, so you guys maybe can contact Doctor directly. If is that okay Doctor?
Yeah, sure can.
Yeah, thank you so much Doctor. So you guys can
Okay.
contact secara menyeluruh so that you guys nampak lebih gambaran on what is actually happen behind the scene. As I said before, this is why it's important, and that's why we bawakan 3 speakers today so that you guys get a whole perspective on how actually AMR works. As I mentioned before, it doesn't just play one role, everyone have their own role. So I hope that here's especially when our One Health sendiri, kita punya ahli jabatan kuasa adalah majority daripada DVS. So I hope these sessions will not just kita tak sahaja mendidik, tapi dalam masa yang sama macam Doktor kata, kita mengharapkan satu action lah daripada pihak DVS sendiri untuk memastikan benda ni tak terus berkuat kuasa. I guess tak salah rasanya if kita nak memenuhi keperluan dan sebagainya, because that is what our needs. As Dr. mentioned in the first slide, Dr. kata yang we want to boost, and actually kita nak kurangkan daripada segi export dan sebagainya. So here come our part, but yet all the rules and regulations adalah perlu di follow, my gap dan sebagainya. And also untuk dalam masa yang sama, untuk kita keluarkan produk kita, so not sahaja dalam negara, and then untuk consumer belief juga dengan adanya my gap dan sebagainya, asli kita secara tak langsung sebenarnya kita beri kepercayaan kepada consumer. Sebab macam kita tengok sekarang, ramai yang lebih ke produk-produk antarabangsa Doktor. Kita kurang percaya, kita kurang yakin sebenarnya dengan produk-produk kita sendiri. So benda tu jadi satu masalah. So I hope dengan adanya kepiawaian ni, actually kita memberi keyakinan kepada kita punya local consumers yang produk-produk kita pun setanding, and then tak perlu export dan sebagainya, and then kita tahu apa yang kuantiti, apa pengurusan dari segi feeds dan sebagainya. I guess it's really important. So I hope that DVS and dengan Kementerian Kementerian Makanan, Kementerian dan kebajikan haiwan dan sebagainya, kita boleh bekerjasama. And as Dr. said, a collaboration is really important. It's play 2 roles. So I hope that this sessions, Doctor, thank you so much for the perkongsian.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate the perkongsian, and we hope that we could learn more, Doctor.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Okay, bye. Okay, thank you.
Alright, thank you, Doctor.
Bye.
Alright guys, so for the last sessions, tadi kita dah tengok on what happens in national and veterinary level. So for our next sessions tonight, we will explore AMR from a global side, and we will see and understand how worldwide trends shape this issue. So okay, I already see our next speakers. So guys, we were here AMR and you from global perspective. By then, we are so honored to welcome Dr. Tengku Zati Mastura. Hi Doctor.
Hello, good evening everybody. Assalamualaikum.
Hi, good evening Doctor.
Can you hear me?
Waalaikumsalam. Alright Doctor, is everything okay from your side?
Yeah, actually I'm at Genting now. So do you want me to share the slides?
Alright, I think our Pengarah is now sharing the slide. Okay, can we give a moment, Doctor, so that they would prepare the slide? All right. All right, guys, I'm so sorry. We will take a moment for preparing the slide as sorry, Doctor. Are you mind to sharing your slide or you want us to share the slide? Can you share the slide? I think your microphone is off, Doctor.
Okay, I'm sharing on my side, yeah?
Okay, yes, can, Doctor.
Okay, can you see it now?
All right, clear, Doctor.
Okay. So
All right,
apologies,
up to you.
I think this is quite a late session, and I hope that everybody can bear with me. So Assalamualaikum and good evening. Thank you, everybody. Ni tengah bersiar from Genting Highland. Yeah. Actually, I have what you call this, another workshop here, which is ongoing. But I have excused myself for a while. So I am Dr. Zeti from the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, UPM, and I am also the head of infection control at the Hospital Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah, UPM. So you see the widgets here. So these are actually from, I think, 2019, 2021 or something like that. But I think it's still relevant, yeah? Antibiotic resistance. So does everybody know when is the World AMR or Antimicrobial Resistance Week? When is it celebrated? Do all of you know it?
Let's
So
see the comments,
yeah,
Doctor.
ada. I've got a lecturer kan.
Okay, 17, Doctor. 17 to 24, is it right?
CPCP, yeah?
CPCP.
Kedua early one day.
Oh, okay, so it's on 16?
No, it's 18th.
Oh,
18th.
okay.
18 to 24th November. Okay. So that
Alright.
is the World AMR Awareness Week lah. Okay. So every year we will celebrate that to create awareness to everybody, the public, and even our professionals. Yeah. So let us see. Just now, Dr. Hyrene has focused on the national part and also from the animal health. So probably my focus will be more global and a bit emphasis on what we do on the human health side. Yeah. So this is the presentation overview, the global AMR threat. I think for the past few weeks, for the past month, everybody has been emphasizing on what AMR is. And the second topic will be drivers of antimicrobial resistance. And I think most of us here knows what the drivers are, okay? But it's just to reiterate what it is. And the power of multidisciplinary collaboration, I will try to showcase and highlight that. And conclusion, yeah? So anybody has seen this video? No? I'll try to switch it on and see if you can, or I need to share it on another. Can you see the video now or not?
I think I can hear the voice, but I cannot see the video.
So I have to amend the sharing which one. Okay, just a moment.
Alright, Doctor.
Okay. So how about now? Do you see?
Alright, clear,
Okay.
Doctor.
So this is just to share how fast AMR can occur, yeah? Okay, let me see. It's not playing. Just a moment. Some technical difficulties on my side. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'll just play this. Okay. Okay, can you hear it, yeah?
Not start yet, Doctor.
Yeah.
agar with different amounts of antibiotic. On the outside, there's no antibiotic. Just in from that, there's barely more than the E. coli can survive, Inside of that, there's
Sorry,
10
Dr.
times as much, 100 times, and then
Sorry,
finally
we
the
only
middle
can
band
hear
has
your
1,000
voice.
times as much antibiotic. And then across
How about now? Can you see it?
All right, now we can see this. All right, now can, Doctor. Just now it's just the sound. I'm sorry, Doctor, it didn't move.
It's not moving?
Yeah, it's not moving, Doctor. It's static.
Okay.
No sound also.
Is it? But you can
Yes.
hear the sound?
No. I just now can, but now cannot.
Yeah,
No
I got
sound.
it. So
Okay.
what can you see now? Okay, I'll try to start it. Can you see it now?
I could see, but it's not start. It's still static. And no
Okay, so
sound
it's
also.
static. Okay, so now it's static, is it? Okay, so probably I'll just stop sharing this. Oh, okay. Okay, it says that my screen is paused or something, so that's why probably it's not. You only see the, what you call it? The lines, is it? That says 0, 1, 10, is it?
Yes, I see the line.
Okay, so that's why it's static that way. Okay, just a moment. Oh, okay, I know why.
make it into 1,000 times as much antibiotic.
Can you see?
Yes, it's clearly, Doctor.
Okay, so we go back. So I stopped the video now. So this is just to inform you or just to teach you. Probably you have learned it during microbiology. So this is actually a big petri dish and it has some nutrients for the, what you call it, the bacteria to grow. So 0 is 0 concentration of antibiotics. So 1 is the, what you call this, is 1 times of the antibiotic, and then it's by 10 and then 100 and 1,000. Okay. So they inoculate from 0 the bacteria, and then they incubate it in the incubator, and then they actually look at if there's any growth on the petri dish after a certain period of time. Okay, so this is just an example of how bacteria can survive. It's survival of the fittest against antibiotic. Yeah, so this actually happens also in your body. Yeah, so just playing it again. Resume. So it keeps on. Okay, it doesn't want to cooperate with me tonight. Yeah. Okay, just a moment.
Antibiotic. And then across the top of it,
Can you see it, right?
Yes, Doctor, can. Sorry, Doctor, you paused the video?
Okay, sorry. Is it paused? It's paused again.
Yeah,
to
it's
make it into 10 times as much antibiotic.
I think you guys got the idea, right? What the
And then you see the different mutants repeat this at 100.
Can you see it now?
Yes, Doctor.
It's finishing soon. It's about 1 minute.
And after about 11 days, they finally make it into 1,000 times as much antibiotic as the wild type can survive. And so we can see by this process of accumulating successive mutations that bacteria, which are normally sensitive to an antibiotic, can evolve resistance to extremely high concentrations in a short period of time.
Okay, so from that video, which had a lot of technical difficulties in sharing to you guys. So what Harvard actually depicted there is that how the bacteria can survive, yeah? And we actually see this. We can actually see this happening in the hospital setting, yeah? A patient comes in healthy, and then you will be treated with probably a broad spectrum antibiotic, and eventually within a few days the patient sometimes will get a multi-drug resistant organism, yeah? Like extended spectrum beta-lactamase E. coli. And if the patient has some complication and is admitted to the intensive care unit, the patient will get like CRE, or a very severe multi-drug resistant organism. So in our hospital, we do see this. And like what in Harvard that they did the experiment, it was within 11 days that you see that the mutants arise. Okay? 11 days. Imagine that. Okay. So this is in ourselves, in a human being. So I'm sharing my slides again. So let us see. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. So these are what you call this, the report, or the famous report from 2016 by O'Neill. Yeah. So about 9 years ago, O'Neill actually he what you call this, he created, not he created, but he did some
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
sorry, today my computer is playing with me. Siri is talking to me now. Okay. So O'Neill, yes, Sir O'Neill, he did this report, a review on AMR in 2016. And what he found was, if we don't do anything now, AMR will be a global threat. And by 2050, 10 million will be mortality, yeah? 10 million mortality will be attributable to AMR every year. Okay? That is an annual death, yeah? And if we do not tackle it now, by 2050, one person every 3 seconds will be affected by AMR. So that is quite alarming, yeah? So that's why WHO, WOA, and FAO, and even UNEP have like joined together to tackle drug resistance. Yeah. So this is from the Western Pacific region of the WHO. So Malaysia, we are under Western Pacific region, and our ASEAN neighbors are also in WIPRO, except for Thailand. Thailand is under SIARO, Southeast Asia Regional Office. So you see that it's predicted that 2020 to 2030 in this decade.
Doctor, sorry to interrupt. You share screen because we could only see the first page only.
You can't see it. About now?
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Our doctors showing the first screen facing the treats of MDROS because that is what we are seeing right now.
Okay, I have moved to the next slide actually. Oh, okay.
Okay, now we could see.
And how about this one now?
This one is why tackling AMR is important.
Okay. Okay, I don't know why today is a bit...
I think it's quite lagging, doctor, because it takes sometimes actually.
Okay, so do you see those the 3 reports now, or the 1 report with the 2 other
I see the charta bar and then also 5.2 millions. Is that the slide that you're showing? The bar chart on the regional bacterial AMR related. Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Is in PowerPoint mode, or is it in the
It is in PowerPoint mode, but not in presentation mode.
Ah, okay. So sorry. Yeah.
Do you need any help, doctor?
Just a moment. Let me see. Okay, or now it's there. Okay, so now you see it now. Why tackling AMR?
Okay, yes.
Okay, sorry. So I have been rambling.
No worries.
Sorry. Okay. Uh, so you see that in Wipro, total excess of deaths will be about 5.2 million, and the total economic cost is 148 billion USD. So 148 billion USD, you times that with 4 or 5, that will be about 600 Malaysian ringgit, yeah. And AMR, you see that it's more than TB or HIV in our region. Okay, and this is mortality rate. Yeah, it does not. It's mortality meaning that it's death. Yeah, not people having it, not people having the condition. Okay, so it's quite alarming if we don't do anything right now. Okay, I think this also reiterates the same. And also here, when you see the report, yeah, the annual deaths, you see that more is attributable to AMR. However, the spending, where is the spending focused on? The spending is focused on more to TB and HIV or AIDS. Okay, but AMR is very minuscule, just 2 billion. However, the deaths are more. Okay, so this was what was highlighted from the research or the review that O'Neill did and also WHO. Yeah, so this is quite sad. Moving forward, and this is the global AMR surveillance report. So Malaysia contributes to this. So we have 123 countries enrolled in the GLASS AMR. However, this GLASS AMR is only for human infection. Okay? So you see that human infection, we have some target pathogens, and the most of the AMR is in the blood, followed by your what you call this, your CSF, your cerebral spinal fluid, and also your lower respiratory tract. So that means your pneumonias. Okay? So these are the most common AMR samples, yeah, in these samples. And the target pathogens that you see are Acinetobacter species, E. coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, Staph aureus, and Strep pneumoniae. Okay, and I think some of these infections are also similar in the animal health. Yeah. So in 2024 WHO, we have a bacterial priority pathogens list. Yeah, and you see that we have critical group and high group, and also the medium group. So if you see here, we have carbapenem-resistant enterobacterales, which we call it CRE. Okay, and what you call this? We also have, if in the high group, we have Salmonella typhi, Shigella. So these are also related to the animal health, right? Okay.
True that.
And yeah, and we also have a strep group A, strep group B. So your GBS is also here in the medium group. So the case for investment and action in infection prevention and control was published earlier this year. So in the hospital setting, infection control is important to curb AMR transmission between patients, because patients are vulnerable individuals, so they are more prone to get AMR infections. Yeah. So you see that if you spend $1 US, you will improve to improve environmental hygiene. The economic gain is actually 5 times more. And if you invest $1 to improve hand hygiene, the economic gain is 24.6 times. Okay, so you see that, okay, not that I'm saying that you do not need to clean the environment, but if you improve hand hygiene with the same amount of money or investment, it's more beneficial when you improve hand hygiene compliance. So in the hospital setting, we do what you call this, we do emphasize hand hygiene very, very much, yeah, to curb infections. So this is from Wipro, from Dr. Takeshi Nishijima's address in Singapore recently. So this is the UNGA political declaration, and it's updating the global action plan on AMR. So this is in the work, yeah, work in progress. So Malaysia is also contributing or commenting on the Global Action Plan on AMR. So all member states are invited to give their opinion, on the draft. So these are the key outcomes. So there was a political declaration of the high-level meeting on AMR last year, whereby our YBMK, our Minister of Health, Datuk Seri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad, he was the chair for this meeting. So we are quite honored that we have a very political commitment from our leaders. So the way forward, they have actually tabled it out. They want to reduce AMR-related deaths by 10% by 2030. So we have like about 4 years to do that. Yeah?
3 years left.
Yeah, we have about, yeah. And then there are other outcomes they have planned out, yeah. So this is the quadripartite. So probably you have heard it before. It's a multi-sectoral approach. So what we're doing with, like, you guys are doing One Health. So that is a multi-sectoral approach, right? So the quadripartite consists of 3 UN agencies and 1 organization, which are the World Health Organization, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN, and the UN Environmental, UNEP. Yeah? WOA is not under UN, however, but they are the most long-standing organization. I think it just had their 100th anniversary last year. Okay? So they came together and they made up the quadripartite joint secretariat on AMR. So they had the Global Action Plan in 2017. They also had the strategic framework for collaboration. How do we collaborate between sectors? So I think you guys are doing a very good job with this One Health thing. So we hope that everybody can play a part. Yeah. So this is what our work is set for us for this year until the next. So the Global Action Plan is done for a review, and there's a draft. So we are finalizing that draft and submitting it to the WHO governing bodies. Okay? So for your information, in Malaysia, we have the country office, which actually caters for the member states of Malaysia, Singapore, and Brunei Darussalam. So we will try to coordinate this global action plan with Malaysia, Brunei Darussalam, and Singapore, and see if they concur to it, they agree with it, or they want to comment. So there are discussions and meetings. And next year, we hope that it will be adopted and accepted by all the quadripartite members. Okay, so by 2027, we hope that it's all out. Yeah. So that's 2 years plan. And the challenges from the Global Action Plan 2015 and the updated Global Action Plan. So you see that we want to strengthen awareness, social and behavioral change. So that's why we do a lot of awareness, but awareness itself, it's not enough. We need to inculcate some behavior changes also. Okay? And we want to strengthen the surveillance systems and diagnostic networks. So we see that in the human health, it's quite advanced or quite established and sustainable. However, other sectors like animal health, they are somewhat lacking behind due to the complexity of their the animal health. Okay, like humans, you can come to the hospital and it's easy to get everybody on board. But if like animals, you have a lot of species, yeah, and then you also have a lot of what you call this, like you have aquaculture, you have terrestrial like your ruminants, and you also have your small animals and whatnot. So it's quite difficult to cover all the sectors for the surveillance. Usually the surveillance for animal sector, I think, is just between what you call this is for trade and also for disease animals, right? So that is the established surveillance for animals. However, for humans, we are more established. So that is one of the things that we want to intensify for or strengthen for the updated global action plan. Okay. And okay, so I think the number 6 is strengthen multi-sectoral governance. So I think Malaysia has been very good in this. So we have our One Health Action Plan and also our AMR, which, like Dr. Khairin mentioned just now, that they have 4 technical working groups and all of them are multi-sectoral. Okay? So I think this is just highlighting again, 2024 was a very important year for AMR, and Malaysia has been highlighted as one of the main collaborators for this. Okay? And you see that's our YBMK. He was sharing the site meeting during the World Health Assembly. Okay? So we are really indebted to him. Okay? So probably this is the operational strategic priority that were tabled out during the World Health Assembly. And in 2023, WHO announces the members of the first task force of AMR survivors. So these people are actually AMR survivors or a family of the patients of AMR. So there are sad stories and very it's quite emotional. But from their stories, we learn a lot. And what you call this? Sometimes when you empathize with people and you learn how the challenges are and how they survive it, so it's more impactful. Yeah. So the drivers of AMR, how AMR happens. So the first video that was a bit technical problem just now. So you see that it's quite easy to get AMR if you don't have the correct dose, if you don't take it properly, and you one is under dosage and one is you don't prescribe it for the correct period of time, meaning that probably you need it for 5 days, but you just take it for 3 days. So that can also promote antimicrobial resistance. Yeah. And sometimes also you overtake it, or meaning that you take it more than the expected time that you're supposed to take it. Yeah. And even people are sharing antibiotics like gula-gula. Okay. Patients not finishing the treatment. And we do acknowledge that there's overuse of antibiotics in livestock and fish farming, poor infection control in hospitals and clinics, lack of hygiene and poor sanitation. And all of us know that antibiotics, the pipeline is already drained. We are trying to get newer or what you call this, newer antibiotics, and also trying other new innovations like phage therapy. So the cycle of resistant bacteria, all of us know that it's not just humans only, it's all interrelated with the environment, animals, and also your agriculture or your plants. Okay? So it's a vicious cycle. We can't stop, or we can't just curb it or control it in humans only, or we just want to control it in the animal health setting. You can't do that. Everybody has to do their work, because if you don't do what it calls, if you don't, if everybody does not do their role, it will not actually stop this AMR from happening. Yeah. So the power of multidisciplinary collaboration. So like what I mentioned just now, we have the quadripartite, but for WIPRO or WHO, we also have tracking AMR in the country, and it's a self-assessment survey. We call it track. Okay? And this track is a multi-sectoral survey. So the recent one that we did in Malaysia, all of the sectors sat together and answered the questionnaire. So you have like the environment, they were represented by Nahrim, and then we have Department of Fisheries, we have DVS, and we also have Ministry of Health. And Ministry of Health, we have the Food Safety, we have the Pharmaceutical Services Division, and we also have the Infection Control, also the lab, the Institute of Medical Research. So everybody sat down together and they answered the questions on this. And after answering the question, they will see where Malaysia stands. So probably for surveillance in AMR, are we good or are we not good? So they have like a grading for that. Okay. So this is just to mention that in 2025, only 21% of the countries have an AMR National Action Plan. So it's only 20%. That is like one in what I call this? 1 in 5, right? So 1 in 5 countries only had an AMR National Action Plan. Okay. So this is only for the Western Pacific region. It's not the global, it's just our region here. So you see that most of the countries did not have a national action plan, yeah, that is fully implemented with monitoring, yeah, okay, and evaluation and financing. Yeah? So that's quite sad to see that. Hopefully we can improve this. And the UNGA or the UNGA target is 95%. Okay? But we see that yeah, the target is achieved for submitting the response. So in WIPRO, we have like about 28 countries. So 26 actually answered this survey. However, the results for the 9-year trend, the progress is quite alarmingly 21% just now, as I mentioned just now. So you see that the global key findings for WIPRO, half of the countries link AMR with at least another national plan. So it might be one health action plan, or it might be another action plan, yeah? So there are a lot of action plans in the country, if you can see. I think in Malaysia, we have one health action plan. We have national security or something action plan. We have AMR action plan. We have infection control action plan. So there are multiple, or a lot of action plans that sometimes you actually overlap. Yeah. So it's quite you have to dance and try to coordinate with everybody to get the good balance and coordination. So this is on a very high level. So when you guys have graduated, so this may be one of the things that you will be in charge of, or helping. Yeah. So you see that less than half are listed involved in the AMR multi-sector coordination. So yeah, 1 in 2 country have that. However, only 14% of the countries have evidence based on behavior change. So behavior change is a big thing, because behavior change will influence how you prescribe antibiotics. It will influence how you deal with disease. Okay? So behavior change is a level up after awareness. Okay? You cannot just have awareness, but no behavior change. Okay? So behavior change is a very big thing now. And the Ministry of Health, they have just launched the National Blueprint on Behavioral Insight. So it's not just about AMR, but also other diseases. Yeah. So more than half of the country have a standardized AMR surveillance system. So that's quite good. And 1 in 3 countries have a developed national ITC program. And 66%, so that's about 2/3 of the countries have a national antimicrobial guideline. Okay? So this was one of the webinars that was done, and they were highlighting, I think Singapore was there, Philippines, and also Indonesia. So this is our region, Western Pacific region. So I think this I have mentioned before, the global antibiotic resistance surveillance. So we have a lot of reports. So we want to know what is happening, what is the antibiotics that we are using most, and what are the most common infections. So you see that the infection types were bloodstream infections, gastrointestinal infections, urinary tract, and also gonorrhea infections. Okay? So these are in the human side. Okay? And we call this GLASS. Yeah? So the surveillance system is, we call it GLASS. So we have a lot of surveillance systems. And I think that quadripartite is trying to have one database that can talk to each other, so we can integrate the surveillance with common organisms, so that we can actually compare. Yeah. So what is new is that this is just saying what is additional for the GLASS report. And you see that there's a lot of things happening there, and a lot of we have a dashboard also. Okay? So this is for human health. And so for WHO, our KPI is also to see who reports and is there any improvement in the reporting. So you see that in 2023, 52% of countries have started reporting. And for Western Pacific region, we are actually the one is the salmon pink here down below. So we are really, really bad in reporting actually compared to the other countries. Yeah. So just now, you see that UTI is 1 in 3 caused by AMR, bloodstream infections 1 in 6, gastrointestinal infections 1 in 15. Okay, so this is for the human health. And the trends, you see that gram-negative bacterial pathogens are increasing. Yeah. So your gram-negative are your Salmonella, Klebsiella pneumoniae, E. coli, Acinetobacter. So this is what I also see in our UPM hospital. Okay? Patients do come with multi-drug resistant Salmonella. Previously, I was scared with Salmonella typhi, just a normal Salmonella typhoid infection. But now you see multi-drug resistant Salmonella is quite alarming. So the other three organisms that is a common organisms in a healthcare setting. So this is your CRE. So why CRE is important for us? It's because there's no more antibiotics that we can use to treat it. Okay, we can treat it. Yeah, this is CRE. That was cephalosporin. Okay, so bloodstream infections are increasing. Okay, and CRAB, yeah, we call it carbapenem resistant Acinetobacter. Usually this is a respiratory tract infection, but you see that it has also been going to the bloodstream. So it's not just a respiratory tract infection. And it's a really hard to kill pathogen in the intensive care unit. It can survive on surfaces and resist nearly all antibiotics. So for us, when COVID-19, our experience during COVID-19, so at that point in time, patients were very poorly. They were on steroids and they had secondary bacterial infection. So COVID-19 is viral, right? So they had a secondary bacterial infection. And when you see the secondary bacterial infection, you start them on antibiotics. But because the patient was already on steroids to reduce the inflammation of the lungs, and all the infection, they were prone to get resistant organisms. And most of them had multi-drug resistant or Acinetobacter baumannii. And the only thing that you can treat them with was colistin. Okay, so that's why when previously colistin was used in the animal husbandry, and it's banned now, right? So because we want to preserve this antibiotic for the treatment of this resistant bacteria. Okay, so yeah, so this is just showing what's happening is the low AMR surveillance coverage. Okay, and this is just a lower income, you have a fragile health system. So it just depicts that, yeah. So the findings at a glance is that country participation has increased fourfold. So that is one of our KPIs, like what I mentioned just now. And global levels of AMR are really high, and it's unevenly distributed across the regions. And increased antibiotic resistance trends in gram-negative bacteria. So before this, we were really focused on MRSA, yeah? But then you see that the gram-negative bacteria are posing a growing threat. Yeah? And countries with limited surveillance, they report higher levels of AMR. So if you don't do what you call this surveillance, the more chances that your setting or your local setting will have more AMR because you don't know what the numbers are. So how are you going to intervene? Yeah. So these are some of the initiatives that we have done. So this is the multifactorial, what you call this meeting, ministerial meeting, and also a One Health conference by the Japanese government, also by WHO, Western Pacific region, and Southeast Asia region. So two regions of the WHO and the Japanese government, they hold, I think it's a biannual conference in Tokyo. So they will, what you call this, they will discuss and talk on what is happening in the region and what are the targets met, and what is the way forward. Okay, so Malaysia has been actively involved in this. Okay, and these are some of the guidelines that we use in the human health, and WIPRO calls it the 4 beads in a chain. So one is on antimicrobial consumption surveillance. We call it REPRAX. Antimicrobial stewardship for hospitals, AMR surveillance, and also AMR outbreak response. So for us in the human health, we do need to do this AMR outbreak response. Even in HSAS UPM, we have several outbreak investigations. Once we see that there are an increased number of multi-drug resistant organisms above the baseline of what we have, we will do the outbreak investigation, and we will try to check where is the index case, who is a close contact, where is the source of this, what is happening, are they interrelated, is there an epidemiological link or not? So even at the hospital setting, we are doing this, yeah. So this what Wipro has been doing. So since 2022, we have been guiding on the establishing of the national and local MR surveillance system in all the member states. Okay, so Malaysia was in 2024. Yeah, so and just to inform you, Indonesia has just recently joined Western Pacific region. Previously, they were under the Southeast Asia region. So that's why here, 2025 August, Wipro went to Indonesia to have the engagement with them. Yeah. So a lot of things I've been doing in several countries, debriefing flights, mission reports, country requests for further support. So we try to assist all the countries to curb or control AMR, not only in, well, WHO, we will focus on human health. However, we also have food safety and also One Health. So we do work under the auspices of the quadripartite. Okay? Yeah, so this was in Malaysia. Then Prof. Sashila is there, and Dr. Nishi, I can see there. And then there are several translations of the outbreak response management guideline. Okay. So this is WIPRAX. So WIPRAX is our antimicrobial consumption surveillance system. So this is human health only. And I know that WOA also has their NMUs and also INFARM. So all of the, what you call this, the quadripartite members, well, not all, but animal health and human health, we have the surveillance systems in place. But we do need something to be, for them to be aligned so that we can talk and compare and see what is happening in our setting, in our country. So just to share with you, if I talk about AMR, I can talk hours and hours, okay? So just to share with you that Malaysia was privileged to join this regional tripartite AMR project. It was funded by the European Union, and it's not quadripartite, but it's tripartite. So FAO, WHO, and WOA were involved. So for Malaysia, we do not have FAO and we do not have WOA officers in Malaysia. So WHO was the main coordinating agency for this project. Okay. So I came to work with WHO due to this project. So I have been coordinating to help Malaysia to achieve their action plan KPIs. Yeah? So this was in 2024. We had a regional tripartite AMR project, intersectoral work planning. So you see there, we have representative from all DVS, MOH, FAO, WOA, and also WHO, Wipro. And yeah, so we had the work plan meeting. And this is the One Health Priority Research Agenda for antimicrobial resistance. So these are the research, yeah. So if you guys are interested in research, you can look at this guideline and you can see what are the main priorities for the research. Yeah. So these are the One Health synergies, AMU in livestock. I think probably Dr. Harin has mentioned that. And environmental discharge, this is always a problem because the ownership, we have a lot of agencies, national agencies that are responsible for water or quality of water and quality of, like the sewer and things like that. So it's quite difficult to get this environmental part sorted, but we do acknowledge that environmental discharge needs to be surveyed. Yeah, environmental AMR gene tracking, joint databases, trainings and collaboration, and multi-sectoral approach benefits. Also, I didn't put this in the slide. However, I'm not sure if you guys know it, but Malaysia was one of the first countries to pilot the tricycle project. So the tricycle project is actually including human, animal, and environment sectors, whereby they took samples from upstream river, downstream river, from the animal farms, and also the human in a selected locality. Okay? And they found out that ESBL E. coli was what you call this is predominant there. Yeah. So that was one of the eye-opening research that Malaysia was involved. And it also progressed to several other projects. We called it Triumph. Okay, so this Triumph was sponsored by, I think it was Canada and Japan. So they extended it to other zones or other localities in Malaysia to the similar project. Okay? So these are the communication strategy that you see. So this we have to know that AMR is a global threat and it affects not only human and animal, but also agriculture and environment. And the urgency is the lack of awareness. And the objective is you have to communicate properly who to what you call this, to create the awareness to which sector, which people are high risk for this. And it's crucial for raising awareness and driving action against AMR. So this is from the tripartite. So we actually published a regional AMR communication strategy. Okay. And for you guys, the youth, I think 2024 was a very important year whereby they have developed a lot of things and create awareness. So this is the quarterly report from Q1 this year. So this is quadripartite report, yeah. And you see that they have started to go in schools, and even Malaysia also, we have started to go in schools and talk about AMR. And there is a publication called AMR Prevention and Education in Schools, which is published by the quadripartite. Okay, and also REACT. So REACT is an action on antibiotic resistance. So this also, they have a youth engagement portal. And in the UNGA or UN General Assembly. So we have a high-level meeting on antimicrobial resistance. It's a youth manifesto, and there's also a toolkit for youth engagement. And I think previously there was a call for increasing youth engagement and involvement in local, national, and international AMR action. So I did share with, I think, with Dr. Indah, or I think some other lecturers also, and tried to get involvement of our Malaysian youth. So I think the AMR, the Malaysian experience, Dr. Hyrene has mentioned this, so I will not dwell on it a lot. It's only that 1952, we have the Poison Act. 1998, we have the first national surveillance of AMR in human health by Institute of Medical Research. And we have evolved, okay, to 2021. And we are reviewing now for the third version of the Malaysia Action Plan for AMR. Okay, so this is all thanks to all the people on the NARC, or National Antimicrobial Resistance Committee. So it's not just human health, it's not just ministries, it involves universities, NGOs, professional organizations with specific KPIs and outcomes. Okay, so yeah, so just to update, so we have a joint external evaluation. Okay, so Malaysia, last was 2019, and we are due for another joint external evaluation. Okay, so this will actually include AMR and what we do to combat AMR, the surveillance, okay, and also the detection and stuff. So these are the outcomes that we hope for this version, the second version. So increased level of awareness and knowledge for the public, 5% reduction in AMU by 2026 compared to the rate in 2022, 30% reduction of critically important antimicrobials, and at least 60% of overall AMT in excess group antibiotics by 2026. So actually, we are not achieving this. We are way beyond this. So it's quite scary to think about this. Yeah. So these are key enablers for success. So it's not one thing, it's a lot of things that you need to do to tackle antimicrobial resistance. So this is for mainly us on the human side. Leadership commitment. So this is exemplified by YBMK, carrier pathways for AMS and ITC, lab diagnostic investment, stronger regulation, and audit information. So this is from Wipro. So antimicrobial resistance remains the major public health threat. So, and the GLASS AMR report presents alarming findings showing high level of drug resistance and upward trend in AMR globally. Okay? So probably what we're doing is not enough, or is it that the reporting rate is increasing, so that's why the numbers are more? So we hope that we will establish and strengthen the AMR surveillance and ITC systems, yeah, despite the financial constraints. But international collaboration and support are now more critical than ever. So for us, WHO and WIPRO remains fully committed to supporting member states. So I think with that, I close it with AMR is not just a medical issue, it's a governance, financing, and behavior issue. Preventing resistance begins with preventing infections. Okay, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Alright, Dato, before we get started with our summary, is it okay if I ask Doctor to stop presenting since our technical team want to present for the next slide?
Okay, yeah.
Alright, Doctor. All right, thank you so much, Doctor, for such a powerful explorations. And I guess it's really important to us to have such a comprehensive and worldwide perspective. All right, Doctor, before we go with our summary, I think I would like to highlight one of the important details that just now Doctor just mentions about that actually when Doctor go for all the WHO and so on, it's really heartwarming when we see what is their challenge and how they survive, and that is actually one of the key findings, and actually that is how we learn. So by that, as we could highlight that AMR is such a global infections that most of us still does not realize. As for the third slide, if I'm not mistaken, Doctor is showing us the rate. As we could see that actually AMR brings such a huge range of that, but still people are not really acknowledge about it, because just as to send perspective like a doctor, when we say something about HIV, when we say something about AIDS and so on, it's some things that people already know. It doesn't need to be from medical background, doesn't need to be from DVS and so on. Because when we say about HIV and AIDS, everyone know. But when we say about AMR, there is a lot of people that just consider, oh, it's just antibiotic resistant, and then they continue to take antibiotic as well without actually seeing what is the impact. So I also would like to highlight, that would be my second highlight, as Dr. say for the COVID-19, actually we doesn't really see the impact. But when you really need the antibiotic, you really needs that, when it's not function, that is actually become worst scenario for us, and especially doctor sendiri, someone who experienced in medical human medicines. So it's hard for people belakang the tabib to actually to identify what is the best solution if the patient is actually already resistant with all the antibiotics. So what actually we can do to help, especially when berlakunya wabak that we are not prepared for. So actually I love that how Doctor highlight all the WHO, FAO, and then from the environment and so on. I think for these 3 sessions, Doctor, we already highlight many times that actually it's not only take one roles, it takes another roles. And I also love that Doctor actually highlights again, if we could recall, Doctor say that we couldn't start AMR if we just stop from human, and we couldn't also stop AMR if we just take action from animal part. So it takes 3 part, and also Doctor mentioned about the 3 factors study: environment, humans, and also animals. So it's really important. And also I guess that is why it is important to widen our lens and to see things from another part of things from another opinion. As we could see, tadi Dr. Ade has been from Tokyo, Riyadh, Canada, and so on. So we could see actually how they actually manage their things and actually how the key solutions in order to settle down and at least to make sure things doesn't get worse day by days. And actually is we are so lucky and we are so proud to see that Malaysia contribute a lot, even though as Dr. say we doesn't have a wakil from FAO, we doesn't have from food and so on, we only have from WHO, but we could see that actually Malaysia contributes a lot. And even as Dr. mentioned, we have also political influence and so on. So we hope that in the future, kan Doctor, we doesn't stop here, because as we could see, the beginning is quite stable, I could say, even though that our percentage, that means that we already realize, we already acknowledge. Yes, as Doctor said, it takes a lot of time to educate people, to educate the masyarakat and so on, because of course, from our side, from our point of view, we understand. But actually, if we understand, it's so hard to make someone also understand. That is what is the main challenge here. And I think that we are trying so hard. Even dari tadi we talked about how youth, and then Dr. Karin talked about what is DVS doing, and now what is global doing, WHO awareness, and Doctor also mentioned go to one by one country to explain, to actually to communicate. The interconnections is actually there. So we hope that it doesn't stop here. Okay, as we also know that we also have a lot of pakar and so on. So I hope it will be more extent. And as we said, we wouldn't know what would happen in future, what outbreak would happen. So it's really important for us to at least ambil langkah, the precautions. So at least whenever whatever happen in the future, like now also, we can actually go through that at least at the minimum point. So again, I thanks Doctor so much for such a valuable insight, and I hope with the session just now we could open the community eyes and we could also spread awareness about how AMR spread globally, and also every country struggle on this. So when every country struggle on this, when we participate, actually we could learn the key factors, we could learn the key solutions, and we could also contribute. As Dr. say, to the meetings and then due to the conversations, everything's actually play a crucial roles in order for us to help each other to maintain such a good cycle. And we doesn't want to kacau the natural cycle, because if you kacau the natural cycle, at the end of the day, as Dr. said, it will come back to us. So thank you so much, Doctor, for such a worldwide perspective. I think it's really helps, and I hope that everyone here could actually contribute. I hope we, as I say, it's not just one role. It's consider every role. So I hope everyone can play their role so that we could ensure these things could be, at least kita tak berharap untuk settle sepenuhnya, tapi kita harap kita dapat meminimumkan apa yang sedia ada. Alright, so thank you so much, Doctor. And I also would like to address thanks again to all the speakers, Mr. Calvin, Dr. Khairi, and also Dr. Zati. And I will say, Doctor, actually everyone here couldn't deny that we already have such a wonderful 3 sessions with all the 3 wonderful speakers, Doctor. And I guess this is the time to everyone else, every other participant, to jump in and come with us. As here's come the Q&A session, where curiosity leads the way. So for all the participants, either you guys were watch us live on YouTube or even you guys with us in the Zoom, we really appreciate if you could drop down any comments or any questions in the chat box. We would really happy to go through that one by one. And as I believe, there is no questions that too big or no questions that too small, right, Doctor? We could discuss it together, and let's make this such a collaborative session. So I think I will be kickstarting our session with the first questions. Let's see. All right, Doctor. Now we're waiting for the questions. Okay. We already update from the YouTube also. So we would see from 2 perspective in Zoom and also. All right, this is specific questions for Dr. Karin. How are authorized tackling the illegal purchase and usage of antibiotics in the farm industry? Dr. Karin? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I still with you all.
Alright, Doctor. Can you answer the first question, Doctor? They are asking macam mana authorities tackle illegal
Yes.
purchase and usage antibiotics in farm industry?
Okay, like this. Actually, kita under DBS, kita akan lakukan actually the pharmaco surveillance. And then when receive the complaint from the industry or from anyone, so kita akan pergi siasat, turun lapangan, and then kita akan also inform to the NPRA untuk do some reporting, and then NPRA akan turun bersama-sama dengan kita pada satu masa nanti untuk pergi siasat lah keadaan tu. Tapi anything kalau related to the untuk bawa ke mahkamah ke, untuk compound ke, biasanya kita akan pergi dengan bahagian penguasa farmasis. Itu yang penting lah. Okay. Is it
Alright.
answer all the questions? Yes, right.
Alright, thank you so much, Dr. Karen. Yes, I think it's really
Right.
answered the questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. So right now we already understand. Alright, next. Okay. Okay, we have a comments from Dr. Indah. Thank you, Dr. Zati. Despite your super packed schedule, thank you for squeeze us in. Alright, we would go with another questions. Okay, another question for Dr. Karen also. How frequent DVS conduct AMR surveillance sampling on livestock animals?
Okay, like this. When we do sampling, when we get the E. coli or Salmonella, of course, when we get the Salmonella and E. coli in our sample, we do for AST testing. So the frequent is we have the program manual persampalan kebangsaan, which is I show you the buku, the QR code there. Okay, the frequent you can see inside the books lah. So actually boleh dikatakan sangat frequent lah kita buat sampling for every logi, every commodities yang diterangkan dalam buku manual persampalan kebangsaan tu. So you all boleh baca kat situ actually. Memang kita ada jadual persampalan kebangsaan lah. Kita pergi ke loji-loji yang telah certified dan berapa sampel yang kita ambil, cara macam mana sampel kita ambil dan result tu kita hantar ke mana, semua diterangkan dalam buku manual persampalan kebangsaan 2025. Itu you all boleh tengok lah actually. And then tahun depan pun macam I mentioned before, kita akan keluarkan yang 2026 punya lah rancangan persampalan kebangsaan, program persampalan kebangsaan. Okay?
Alright, thank you so much, Doktor. Saya rasa yang tu sangat menjawab soalan. Cuma Doktor, just untuk tambahan lah. Tadi kan Doktor kata untuk tahun depan kita akan ada persampalan yang baru. So, boleh kita tahu adakah sampel ni akan berubah dari masa ke semasa? And kalau berubah, kenapa tu? Adakah disebabkan daripada segi penambahan komuniti ke dan sebagainya?
Maksudnya jumlah sampel ke macam mana tu?
Macam Doktor kata tadi, persampalan buku persampalan tu akan berubah tahun depan kan. Jadi bila kita tahu buku dan juga panduan tu berubah,
Okay. Dia macam
adakah
ni, dia persampalan ni kita depends on the how many establishment yang kita lesen-kan, yang kita certified. So let's say tahun ni, katakan tahun ni kita dah certified dalam 300-400 establishment or slaughterhouse or farm, and then every slaughterhouse tu memang kita ada rancangan untuk ambil sampel apa yang berkaitan bagi setiap loji tersebut. Jadi it depends on the data for this year lah. Kalau kata kita for this year lah, betul lah. Kalau kita dapat 500 loji ataupun establishment yang kita certified, then tahun depan memang kita akan ambil sampel ikut komoditis dan ikut penetapan dari segi sampling tu lah. Maksudnya macam mana to explain to you all lah. Maksudnya let's say kalau kata ada 100 farm, memang full 100 farm tu kita akan ambil. Cuma frequent tu kita akan tetapkan lah dari semasa ke semasa untuk ambil apa kan. Hormon, untuk uji hormon ke, untuk uji bakteria ke, AMR ke, macam tu.
Alright, thank you so much Dr. Karin. Alright Doktor, penjelasan yang sangat-sangat jelas. Baik, kita ke seterusnya daripada Muhammad Takif bin Ishaq. Can AMR affect any animals beside farm animals, or is it more prone in a farm animal because the overusage of antibiotics? Dr. Karen, boleh?
Okay, AMR ni actually dia sangat broad actually. Dia banyak faktor, a lot of factor can lead to the AMR. Like I mentioned to you all before, macam right now FAO dia tengah establish one guideline that macam mana AMR tu datang daripada environment. So the guideline is dia akan detailkan dalam guideline tu, dia ceritakan lah macam mana cara nak ambil sampel kalau dia related to environment, sama ada kena ambil books ke daripada uh, daripada vehicle dips ke, ataupun daripada water outflow daripada farm ke, macam tu. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much,
Hmm.
Dr. Karen. Alright, seterusnya Dr. Zati. Dr. Zati, in your opinion, are the goals set by UNGA Political Declaration updating Global Action Plan on AMR achievable by 2030? Yang kita kata 4 tahun lagi tu, Doktor.
Okay, that's a good question. I think we are working towards it and we hope that we can achieve it. But you see that the quadripartite is trying their best to achieve it. Even like NARC, also we have the KPIs and we're trying to achieve it. But you know, the effort is there, but we have to see what is going to happen. Yeah. But we hope that by 2030 at least we have achieved something. Yeah.
Alright, Doctor. Faham, Doctor. Since it's just 4 years left, as Doctor said, even if tak fully, we hope that we actually achieve something. But just to extend the questions lah kan, Doctor. Katakan if we couldn't make it by 2030, is there any future plan ke that we would like to extend?
Yeah. When you look at action plans, like it's not like it's global or is it national, you do have your key outcome indicators. We will try to go towards it. However, if it's not achievable, we will try to see what is the source or what is the cause of not achieving it. Okay. And we will go and have our strategic work plan and try to achieve it within the set period of time lah. Like I said that our national action plan, like our My APMR 2022 to 2026, we have not achieved that 60% of excess antibiotic. We are way down below. We're using more of our watch category antibiotics. So memang we will not achieve it next year by next year. But we still have to do a strategic work plan to try to increase that percentage.
Alright, thank you so much, Dr. Zati. I think it's really menjawab persoalan. And even that we know, even if kita tak manage untuk achieve that things, they will at least kita achieve one of the key findings, and actually kita akan tengok balik apa faktor-faktor yang menyebabkan kita tak achieve, and we will try to work on that. Alright, so for the next question, this is for general questions. So maybe we could ask every panel punya perspective. Any of the speakers, may I know what is your personal opinion on the effectiveness for us to actually ban the uses of more antimicrobial in the future? Will it be better if more antimicrobial is banned? Okay, macam tadi, I rasa colistin kan? I think Dr. Karin ada mention, dah di-ban dalam penggunaan dalam animals, and even Dr. Zeti juga ada mention yang salah satu sebab kenapa colistin di-ban adalah untuk kita reserve dia sebagai setelah antibiotik tu resistant. So maybe doktor boleh sambung, adakah lebih baik kalau kita ban lebih banyak ataupun akan ada kesan juga selepas tu? Mana-mana speaker?
Ladies first, yeah? Okay.
Boleh doktor.
So for human health, yeah, so WHO, we have the 3 categories lah: access, watch, and reserve. So yang access ni, it's more of the antibiotics that are more narrow spectrum that we want people to use lah, or our doctors to use. Watch ni macam is the second line treatment, yeah. And reserve, macam colistin tu is the reserve lah. Kita nak dia is the third line or the last line lah. So kalau WHO kita ada aware, watch, reserve. So kita punya national antibiotic guidelines yang human health, we will we will develop it according to this access, watch, and reserve lah. So if you say that you want to ban one antibiotic. We cannot do that because it depends on the clinical clinical reason or the clinical treatment that we need to do, the clinical management. So because we have first line, if first line is not working, we go to the second line, then we go to the third line. So that's why we have antimicrobial stewardship in the human health. So this is try to have a judicious use of antibiotics so that we will have the reserve antibiotic for the severe infection. So that's from a human health perspective lah.
Alright, thank you Dr. Zati. So already kita dah dengar daripada human perspective. Maybe Dr. Karin boleh share daripada animal and husbandry perspective? Dr. Karin, sorry, saya rasa Dr. tak buka mic.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
For animal, actually sekarang ni we have to look. A lot of stakeholder use the antibiotic as a growth promoter. So kita memang sarankan for the prudent use of antibiotic lah. Gunakan antibiotik bila masa yang sesuai saja. So that's why a lot of antibiotic is banned right now. Banned for growth promoter sebenarnya. Kita banyak ban for growth promoter daripada 2019 until now. So it's better lah. It's better to less use of antibiotic, and kita pun galakkan for the vaccination, for the biosecurity ladang untuk tingkatkan dari semasa ke semasa lah. Dan right now pun we do receive a lot of application for importing of the vaccines of the sumber biologic, probiotics. So this one is encourage to less use of antibiotic and promote the use of other way of antibiotics.
Alright, thank you so much Dr. Karin and Dr. Zati. Rasanya kita dah dengar daripada dua pandangan, iaitu daripada medical dan juga daripada animal husbandry. Alright, now we go for the next question. Okay, this is also a general question. Can I ask if someone has never taken antibiotic without doctor prescription and also always finish the antibiotic, can this prevent them from getting AMR? Any speakers?
So probably that is human health, right? So
Human health.
just to confirm, a patient who takes antibiotic without proper diagnosis, is it?
Yup, yang dia tak taken antibiotic without doctor prescriptions and also finish the antibiotic. Maksudnya maybe dia ambil antibiotics tu tanpa doktor punya prescription tapi dia habiskan antibiotics tu. So adakah itu prevent daripada AMR?
So that is quite a conflicting scenario because you cannot take antibiotics without prescription. Okay? So even though you take it, you say that it's a proper period, proper dosage, but do you know that that disease or that condition really warrants that antibiotic or not lah? So if a professional point of view, I would say that that will actually promotes more AMR because you're not properly diagnosed. Okay? Yeah.
Okay doktor, dia baru update semula. Dia kata bukan, ambil daripada doctor prescriptions dan also finish it. So is that actually
Okay.
prevent?
So that's a good practice lah. So that's a good practice. So what if it's properly prescribed, properly taken, so that's good practice.
Alright, I hope that's menjawab the soalan. Just untuk extend lah kan doktor, katakanlah kalau kita dah ambil the antibiotics and then also finish it on time, but what if kalau the penyakit keep datang balik and we keep continue? Walaupun kita habiskan dalam masa yang ditetapkan, follow the prescription, is there still actually ada tak possibility untuk still dapatkan that resistance sebab badan kita dah terlalu kebal dengan ubat tu walaupun kita follow the right ethics?
Okay, so this is common in like patients with chronic infections. Okay, so that's why I told you that they have first line, second line, third line drugs, antibiotics. So we will not use the same antibiotic if you have another infection because we already used it for that infection. So usually we will use another the second line lah. So even like in the hospital setting, we do have patients. We have to review the antibiotics. So they have finished the first course, semua okay, but then still there is an infection or it's still prolonged. we have to review the antibiotic and prescribe which one we think is better. But there are other parameters that actually help you to make that decision. It's not just solely from the like what you call this, from the culture and sensitivity results or what. You have to take into account the whole patient's condition. Tak boleh macam just reactive to one result only. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Zeti. All right, we will go for the next questions. What are simple behavior changes the public can adopt to minimize antibiotic misuse? Any speakers? Saya rasa ni soalan terbuka. Macam kita banyak mention tentang awareness kan tadi, what is the simple behavior yang actually boleh change to minimize the antibiotic misuse? Any doctor?
So,
Dr.
is it
Karen?
you? So actually, simple behavior the public can adopt to minimize the antibiotic misuse. Kita bagi awareness lah, a lot of awareness about the effect of the if you use the antibiotic without proper prescription, kan? So like a effect lebih kepada disease tu akan sukar untuk dirawat di rumah. So I think a lot of awareness should be imposed in the public so that they know we cannot simply use the antibiotic without any proper prescription.
All right, thank you, Doctor. Is there anything to add, Dr. Zeti? Is there anything that you want to add?
Yeah, I think actually Dr. Harin mentioned before in the previous question that where we try to not ban, we try to control the antimicrobial usage for growth promoters.
Yeah.
You actually, when you say do not use, some people they are really reactive towards that, and it's like you say do not use, but you don't give us alternative, you know. So behavior change also you have to create awareness and also give them a solution. Awareness is also it's just on deaf ears only. And behavior changes, I think that what we need to do is like especially in the animal or the fish farming kan. So you have to educate them properly lah. When do you need to use antibiotic? And then when do you need to or other solutions that you can give? Like for human health, we always try to educate the patient. When they need antibiotics, they need to start it and also take the proper dosage and take the proper what you call this take it for a proper period of time and do not share your
Just to add on, yeah. Hello.
Sila.
Yes, okay.
Dengar tak? Just to add on, kalau macam let's say our stakeholder ataupun our farmers right now, when they want to open their farms or they want to renew their license, kita akan make sure that we can get the proper records of the using of the antibiotics or any drugs that related to the farms. And then we will make sure for every licensing for the farm, let's say for the farmers, they want to get the new license or they want to renew the license, we make sure they use properly. So that's why we put the element in the renewal of the license of the farm. One of the element is for the to look and to have to look at the prescription proper record for the drugs usage. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Zeti and Dr. Karin. I hope itu menjawab persoalan on how to educate and actually to spread awareness. And as you guys mentioned before, is tak ada guna actually if we keep raising for awareness but tak ada any practical. So I hope that it's menjawab persoalan that we need to educate and spread more awareness dan pada masa yang sama kita juga perlu tindakan daripada community juga. Alright, so I guess since masa pun dah mencuburi kita, we could go for the last questions. Alright, this one for Nur Ain. Can we reserve AMR effect by genetic modifications?
Okay, probably I can answer that question. So from a research perspective, yeah, like for MRSA, you have well, there was a study that or what you call this a condition that you have like hetero visa, you know, it's like it can reverse back. It can reverse back, but that is like a natural occurrence. But researchers in India have also tried to do genetic modification. I'm not sure if some of you are aware, like the CRISPR technique, where you like cut the genes, modify the genes. So there are work or experiments that are trying to do that. However, I can't specifically share with you what they are lah. But there are genetic modifications and also other innovative experiments that are done, and we hope that within this next few years we have more innovations that can actually try to curb AMR. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Zati. So we could see that actually genetic modification for one of the key solutions. Is there anything to add, Dr. Karin? Doctor, you didn't open your mic.
Actually, this is more towards the research part, right? So
Yeah.
in DBS, at DBS, we do discussing all these things in the TWG dual actually for TWG group 2. So in that, we do discuss about this one lah. This one of our topic in discussion about the reverse the AMR genetic modification. But I think this one is practically theory only, but practically it's not practical yet, I think. That's my opinion.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Karin. So thank you so much. We already heard from two sides, from Dr. Zeti and also Dr. Karin. So I guess since our time is also running out, so I think we could wrap up. So again, I would like to thank you so much to all the doctors. Thank you so much for such a valuable insight. I'm pretty sure everyone here was so satisfied with all the answers, such relevant and reliable answers. And I also would like to address thanks to all that involved indirectly by send us those questions. I'm sorry if there are any questions that we didn't manage to entertain since we are running out of time, but there is always another time, so please stay tuned if we got another sessions. All right, just to wrap up tonight's sessions, all the participants and speakers. All right, as what we could summarize is actually AMR is a challenge that actually connect us all. As we mentioned from all three speakers, that actually collaboration is one of the key solutions from youth initiative, and then we talk about national program, and lastly from global partnership. Every action, every very bit of awareness, every conservations, and every conversations, everything is actually playing its own important role in order to tackle this problem. So I could say that together we can make a difference, right? And together actually we could bring a big changes to our new world. So actually it start from us. Actually, does we want to take action or we want to remain silent? And on behalf of everyone here, a heartfelt thanks to all the speakers for such a beautiful insight. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with us since the beginning of the session until the end. I also would like to thank all the participants to making this session such a beautiful sessions. So I guess it's already come the time that we want to freeze and capture these beautiful moments. So if you guys don't mind, if I ask all the speakers to stay tuned, you guys may open all the cameras and you guys might just wipe up the cameras and show us your beautiful smile. And also for all the participants, all right, did we still have Mr. Calvin with us? All right. So also to wait for that, if we also have the participants and the audience that were comfortable and okay with it, you guys can also switch on your cameras and we would like to see your beautiful smile. All right. Wait a minute.
Okay, hi everyone. I will take 4 shots of the pictures, okay? So,
Okay, so I guess everyone is ready. So,
okay, so I'll proceed, yeah?
all right.
Okay, first picture. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Second one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then now freestyle. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you everyone.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. It has been truly an honor, actually, to share this beautiful space with all the speakers. I'm really grateful for your time, knowledge, and patience. So, actually, before we move on to merit sessions, kita tak nak drag our speakers' time, so our speakers can kindly exit the meetings. Thank you so much, and all the participants. I guess we could sign off our speakers with a warm goodbye and thank you. Thank you so much. I wish you guys nothing but more success in future. I hope we can work again next time. Thank you so much. All the participants are required to stay.
Bye. Thank
Only
you.
the
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
y'all.
Thank you, Dr. Karin. Thank you, Dr.
Okay, bye.
Zati.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, so now attention to all the participants. Now we will be proceed with our merit sessions. Okay, can we go for the next slide? All right, so for the first QR code is for merit. So for UPM and UPMS student can scan the first merit QR code. So please ensure your correct details, including your full name, matrix number, and all the requirements. And then for the one on the right is actually for e-certificates. This is required to all the participants, including UPM, UPMS, and also non-UPM guests. You guys may scan and submit the QR code. Okay, once you guys submitted, you guys shall receive a e-certificate of participant via email after done processing. And please ensure that you guys send both of the QR code by tonight, by now actually, because our link are tight for today's attendance only. And then also, please make sure that you guys give us the correct email address to avoid any unwanted errors in receiving your emails. If you guys have any problem, any issue regarding the QR code, you guys didn't receive the certificate and so on, you guys can contact us actually via emails, or to make it easier, actually we already have official WhatsApp group, so you guys can address it in our WhatsApp group. So our community would help you guys as soon as possible. So you guys would be given 5 minutes to settle down everything. Okay, the QR code on the right is blocked by the profile, or all right. So can I use it first? Is it still locked? Maybe did you guys maybe can kecilkan the slide? Can we not present it in full screen? Okay. Is it okay by now? Okay, for those yang cannot scan the QR code, we also provide the link. You guys can submit the QR form by the link. That is the e-certificate link. For the e-merit link, QR code, is there any problem? All right, I think everyone is done. I assume everyone is done since no one addressed any problem or issue in our chat or even in our WhatsApp group. So it's already 5 minutes. So I hope that everyone have settled down. Yet, if you guys still have an issue, can always contact us. Don't hesitate to contact us. So I think that's all from us. Thank you so much. Thank you once again for all you guys' cooperation from the beginning until the end. We hope the session spark new thoughts, new awareness, and maybe new motivations to start making a changes. As even a big success start with a small changes, step by step, day by day, slowly but surely. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much. Take care, stay healthy, and see you guys on our next sessions. I'm Hanis. I'm so glad to be with you guys tonight. Thank you so much, everyone.